No. Hey, I gotta say, man, only being 1 minute late is pretty good for us.
It's not bad. I think that might be a new record.
We've never been early, like, ever. All right, let's get this show started, man. Look at all these people hanging out in the comments. Man, God, do we love you guys.
Absolutely. What's up, the owl-headed, peacock-feathered game cat thing? What a freaking awesome name. That is like a legendary name. R.C. Windward, Johnny Ripop the Stray Cat, Robert Sullivan, Shenmuso, Kev Gret, Suburban Chicken.
That's a great name.
Suburban Chicken. Gyson, fist bump to you. Fries and Chip, Grod PSVR. I am Grod.
Hear me roar. Grod.
King Booty. Oh, yeah. Wink Rogers Game Cat. Truskillion. Delirium Drew is ready. Sweet. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Here we go. The kitty's getting closer by the second.
Oh, he's coming right for us.
Oh, man.
So
there's so much music playing. There's like Jaws theme that we stole, and then there's the GAMESCAST songs about to start. Here it goes. Meow, meow, meow. So adorable.
Chat.
Yeah. Alright, I thought Dave would be back by now. I guess what are you gonna do?
We didn't want to leave them waiting.
No, we did not want to leave them waiting. So let's get right to it. It's so funny, Dave. We're live. Dave. We're live. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every. I was about to say Sunday. I don't even know what day of the week today is. Every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, and that's what we do here, man. We hang out and we talk about PlayStation VR. We give away some games. We talk about everything that happened this week. My name is Bryan from this channel right here without Parole, and to my far left is AJ from not only this channel but also PSVR Underground.
What up, cats?
That's it. All right.
You didn't ask him how his day's going.
Dude, how's your day going?
There's so much stuff going on in the last couple of days. My mind is about to explode.
Yep.
Like Kev Gret said earlier, this is going to be a 4-hour games cast.
Oh,
so
gosh.
You better strap in. No, it's not really. But you guys better just sit back and relax because there is a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Absolutely.
And of course, that guy right there in the middle who made it back just in time for the show is Dave from Davestation VR. How are you
guys doing it? Oh, I would want to ask them how they're doing. Right, Tell us in the chat. I'm going to redirect that. How are you guys doing? Because I'm doing just
Dave.
fine.
Let's just call him Detective Dave from here on out.
Oh, from LA Noire last night? That was so much fun.
Oh, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's slapping dudes. I saw a lot of slapping dudes.
It was so much slapping. I realized later it's not as effective as punching. Maybe why people don't do it as much when they're in a fight. But, you know.
It's it doesn't matter if it's not as effective. It looks way funnier, which means it's totally worth doing. But I think we'll get to LA Noire in just a little bit here.
Oh, we shall.
Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to Dave and AJ as well on their respective channels. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video because this is the only time we say this all week long. We give you like 12 videos a week, and this is the only time we say, make sure you like the videos. Also, hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparolegames. We do say that pretty frequently because that's how we survive. Give us $1 or more every single month. That's all we ask for. If you like what you see, that's how I buy my pizza and keep bringing you videos. Again, keep in mind that on October 19th is the Game Cat meetup at Six Flags New England.
Ooh, getting close.
Yeah, there's a sign-up
form.
AJ,
we gotta buy tickets.
I know.
We said we were gonna do that, man.
But
we were supposed to do it.
Before the Game Cat meetup, though, we got something really special going on. We'll eventually talk about it here pretty soon. We're also going to have the 2019 PSVR Award Show.
Hell yeah.
Baby.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
That is
going to be a blast. Can't say any more than
It's
that.
going to be a blast. No, it's absolutely going to be a blast. You're absolutely right. For sure. All right, guys. Man, there's like so much stuff that happened in the news this week. I feel like maybe we just need to kind of jump right on top of it and get the ball rolling because, as much as I would love to sit here and talk about Immortal Legacy to make Kev Gret happy, he is right, man. It's going to be a very long show. So let's do this thing.
I'll try to talk I'll try to calm down a little bit today, so I'm not shouting in your ears.
You don't have to calm down. Just
For a
talk
long
really,
time.
really fast so we can do this as quickly as possible.
First up, we've got Arizona Sunshine DLC has been slated for October 3rd with the price of $4.99. It's going to feature new environments, and it's going to be a little longer. I basically just stole this from your newsreel.
That's fine.
Appreciate that. But you guys excited for this? I actually kind of am. I really like the Dead Man DLC is
Did
what
you?
it was. I did. I mean, it was really short and stuff, but it actually worked, so I was able to get through it. And I was playing with JD Max, so if you play with JD Max, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, that's true. I was a little. I mean, I know Dead Man DLC was only $2.50, right? So like, what do you really expect? I didn't like the reuse of environments. You know, like give me something that's worth waiting for and charge me for it. You know, charge me $10 for a 2-hour DLC that I'm like excited to play with new environments and new mechanics or new interesting things that are happening around me, new set pieces. But man, 45 minutes and kind of retreading some of the same ground. It's like I'm not really sure why this thing exists, to be honest with you. Dave, did you like that one?
Not. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Arizona Sunshine, so the DLC was just more of the same to me. Like, I didn't love it. They had improved it a bit by then. You know, when I went back to play the DLC, they had made some tweaks, some fixes and stuff, so it wasn't as janky as it was when I first played it. But it's still just not really one of my favorite games. I don't care too much for it. So it's cool playing with friends, I suppose. But
yeah,
I think that's another one of these really divisive games. When I did the top 5 aim list, there was so many people that were like, talking to me, and they're like, "Thank God Arizona Sunshine was on there," and then everybody else was like, "Why wasn't Arizona Sunshine on there?" So it's definitely a great topic of discussion. I think what the problem is when the game works properly, when it actually runs, you don't run into any game-breaking bugs, then you love it, or you really like it. At least you can still have a good time, especially with co-op. This DLC it's supposed to be co-op as well, I believe, and I'm just happy to see some new environments and stuff, and really kind of just hoping it's nice and polished and introduces maybe a couple fixes to the old one, because it still has a few issues.
yeah. Well, so it's twice as much as the old DLC, right? The first one was like $2.50, and this one's $5.
right.
Is that correct?
Right.
So maybe it'll be twice as good. Who knows?
But they did say in all
That's how
the
prices work, right?
Oh, absolutely. in all the press releases, they said this is, you're going to be treading through new environment, which is awesome. Definitely want to see some new stuff. And then on top of it, they said it's the biggest piece of DLC for Arizona Sunshine yet. And am I wrong? Wasn't Dead Man the only other piece of DLC?
The only piece of DLC.
Oh, well, perfect. It's longer than 45 minutes. I'm so happy to hear that.
I mean, but it's a good price. It's really low risk if you already have the game and everything.
Yeah.
I like that. So it's like, give it a shot, and I'm hoping that it's fun. But yeah, what do you guys prefer to play this? Prefer to play this with the move controllers?
The move controls.
Don't say not at all.
The move control scheme didn't age well. Like it's not the move control scheme that you're used to in like Skyrim or like other more contemporary PSVR games. It didn't age terribly well. But once you kind of get to grips with it, I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat and I'm really curious.
AJ, why is your beard so perfect?
AJ, why is your beard so perfect?
I responded. I sharpened it on rocks.
Hey, there you go. Right before the show, he was out back. Big pile of rocks.
But no, the move controls, like once you kind of get used to them again and take, once you reacclimate to the move controls, it's great. And I just love, doing like the gangster popping zombies' heads,
Popping zombies.
It's a
zombies' heads. That's
what's funny. It's the only game I've ever seen where like the jankiness and bugs can almost enhance the fun in it. So I don't know. We'll see. I'd prefer it not have any issues at all. Okay. But I've literally had more fun because of how messed up it was and stuff, and we were able to laugh at it. So
the jankiness was great. I mean, that's part of the fun, I think. So
right. So yeah, looking forward to that. But we shall see. We don't have a long time to wait. October 3rd.
Yeah,
it's like
right around the corner. Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking for a good excuse to start up Arizona Sunshine again. I had a lot of fun in the Horde modes. I know I've said a lot of bad things about Arizona Sunshine over the course of the last couple of years, but man, it can be very fun with a few friends for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have an announcement from Beat Game Studios, the makers of Beat Saber. and they have said that they are going to be adding their next DLC pack. I assume it's going to come in the form of the same ones, 10 songs, probably $12.99, and that's going to be Panic at the Disco.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wow!
So,
you guys need a hug right now. What's going on?
I'm just saying. After Imagine Dragons, I was like, maybe something, and then Panic at the Disco is just like another nail in the coffin of my interest in upcoming DLC packs. Wow. Like, I don't care about this stuff, but continue.
But
so
continue.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Right Pop and stuff. We all, Right Pop, Gabe, Sonic, and I all jumped in the Discord yesterday, played some of the music. The thing is, whenever I play Beat Saber, I'm usually having a good time. By this point, everybody should know that if I wanted something, I want metal. I want, I'd like a band that has less than 3 million followers on Twitter. And, just some, like To the Top. I've got this To the Top soundtrack right behind me. But the thing is there's going to be a lot of people that this is going to bring in, a lot of Panic at the Disco fans and stuff. Quite frankly, I don't know a lot about their music. Brian, I think you said you know some of their stuff. You like some of their old stuff, so maybe you can help out. GameCats, please let us know what you think about the DLC. I want to see it in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely curious. I have seen Panic at the Disco live. I saw them during their first album when they were on tour. I saw them live, and I thought they were amazing. They put on a great show. And then their second album, I'm convinced that they discovered Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club.
That's what I've heard, that they just ripped off the Beatles in their second album. It's like they totally changed direction.
They were so young during their first album, and I feel like like they eventually they're like, oh, here's our little first bit of success. We discovered drugs in real music, and and they're like, we're totally gonna get real experimental. And I actually, to be fair, even though it does feel like a bit of a Sgt. Pepper's ripoff, I really like Pretty Odd, which is their second album. After that, Ryan Ross left the band. He was their primary songwriter, and I don't think Brendan Urie carries that band the way he should. And I've been increasingly disappointed with every release after. So I only really like their first two albums, and I'm gonna say it's very unlikely that most of the songs in Beat Saber music pack are going to come from the first two albums. So
yeah, although I think there is a decent chance we're going to get that. I chime in with haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door.
Yeah.
Everyone
I hope so. I'll totally
at some
play
point.
That. I'll play that song over and over. I like a lot of stuff.
Some people are kind of divided. Some people like them. Some are saying that they liked them a long time ago. Paper Wings says a poor man's Fall Out Boy. The only reason that made me laugh is because when I heard the song that Right Pop played in the Discord yesterday, I thought it was Fall Out Boy originally. So I was like, oh, that's Panic at the Disco. So
it all came from like the same era. There was the grunge era, and then this was like the decadence era. So like it all comes from like the same. It makes sense that they all sort of sound the same. There's a bunch of bands that are like mistakable for Fall Out Boy for sure.
I love this chat, man. They're just all like put Metallica, put Rammstein. I don't even care. I personally would like underground stuff more, like Baroness, Metallica, Ginger. All these bands are kind of more popular now, but shocking news, everybody. I like metal music.
There are so many things.
I've heard you say that before.
There are so many bands I'd rather have than Panic at the Disco. I don't want to make it sound like I'm like a huge Panic at the Disco fan. I really enjoyed their early stuff, and they've really fizzled out in the last, I don't know, 8 years or something. It's been crazy.
They're probably fizzled out to you, but they probably are never been big.
Well, they're super popular,
which is why they're being included. So
Brendan Urie just did a song with fucking Taylor Swift like not that long ago, and it's all over the radio and stuff. Right. So I think they're doing fine. What it feels like to me is the people picking these packs, or the artists for these packs, are coming to music branching out from a perspective of somebody who's primarily a European EDM fan. Yeah. And so they're like, oh, I don't even know what's good out there. And so this is popular. It sounds kind of electronic. It's very polished. And it's got, for the most part, usually that stuff does fit well with Beat Saber, even if you don't like music. But it's just kind of like they don't feel like they have a finger on any pulse of anything. Yeah. Although they'll probably make it.
Uh-oh, Dave's frozen.
Well, awesome.
To complete his thought until he comes back, they're gonna make a shitload of money on this. That's what he was about to say. Oh,
Dave, whenever you freeze,
That's exactly what I was saying. They're
Okay.
gonna make a shitload of money.
Perfect.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yes, you're back.
All right, cool.
All right. Moving on. I think we got to move on. This is
We will move on. All I want to say is this kind of stuff makes me look forward to Audica and Stumper VR, some of those. So I'm looking forward to playing those. Maybe get some variety in the music. Anyways, moving on. Next up, we have it looks like Solaris. Sorry, I don't know.
We really stumped you there for a second.
Yeah, I totally lost track of my notes. But, so First Contact Entertainment, makers of Firewall, have released through Upload VR. Thank you guys over there doing God's work as always. They have released the first teaser trailer. It doesn't show any gameplay. It's just CG. But they released the first trailer for Solaris, which we know is coming to PSVR later on down the line. And what did you think of it?
I was not too impressed with the trailer because first of all, there's no gameplay for a game that's coming out probably first quarter 2020. And that's not a great sign to me that they have nothing that they can show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's you would think like this isn't the first time we've heard the name Solaris, right? Like they mentioned this for PC VR already, and the fact that they're finally saying, "Oh, great, it's coming to PSVR." You think they'd like to say, like, to give us a little bit more information, like, kind of show up a little bit more gameplay.
As far as I think I might have frozen again. You guys froze.
Yeah, you keep freezing. Do you want to do a quick reset because even
I
when
will.
you're not?
Yeah, I will. Give me 1 sec. I just want to throw in the one thing while I hopefully am still being heard and seen. Oh fuck! You froze again. All right, I'll be back. Don't worry about it.
All right. So, in terms of this trailer, I mean, this is the thing is, I like Firewall a lot. I think it's a really good game, and this game, gameplay wise, looks kind of similar. I know they haven't shown anything official yet, like gameplay wise, but the concept of it looks like you've got a squad of futuristic people running around together. He's got one thing that kind of interests me is a couple things. It looks like he's got a big gun like that you would use with the aim. And then, on top of that, there was something cool that they kind of showed where like one guy's like sliding and picking up a gun. So I don't know. Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see more on this one. But from what they're showing, I think it's a little teaser. I think kind of what they showed now is the teaser that they kind of should have showed back in the day at the Upload E3 thing.
Right.
I think it was the showcase. This is like at least you see the concept visualized a little bit. So, the truth is they don't have a lot of competition in terms of multiplayer shooters right now. So, obviously Firewall is a big success, and this is another sci-fi route. So we'll have to see if people are going to have the same amount of interest in this as they will, a military or modern style shooter versus futuristic one.
Yeah, it's strange. When Vertigo Games was talking about After the Fall, and they were saying, it's like a much more fast-paced first-person shooter. That the Firewall was the first thing I thought of. They were comparing it to themselves. They were saying, this is a faster-paced shooter than our previous game, Arizona Sunshine. But here I am thinking, if it's faster-paced than Arizona Sunshine, which let's call that. I'm trying not to say a medium pace because everybody thinks the same thing when I say that. It was like there's no fast and frantic like Call of Duty style first person shooter. Like, I mean, not to that degree, right? And so I'm wondering if First Contact Entertainment is looking at that kind of hole in as far as VR games are concerned, and saying this is something that if Activision isn't going to do this, then maybe we need to do this. We need to give people that like super fast paced competitive
No,
shooter.
Absolutely. I love fast-paced shooters. To be honest with you, I've always loved that, starting with Quake and Doom, even Doom like multiplayer back in the day.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So I've always liked that. The faster pace, you respawn, you die again. Could be just team deathmatch. Hopefully they should have like dedicated servers this time, to where they don't run into any.
I'm so happy they did say dedicated servers, right? That was like the one thing they did say. I was like, oh, thank you.
Right.
Right.
It's already a huge relief for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, really not much to go off of. I don't know how long they've been working on this, so we don't know if it's going to be. All I can assume really is that once it launches, that they're going to plan to add on to it. So I don't know if that's going to slowly take away from Firewall at all, but I know there's tons and tons of people that love Firewall, tons of people that also are ready for something new. I'm open to new things, but I absolutely want to see Firewall still supported.
Yeah, I'll say, it seemed like the first contact was ready to burn some bridges when it came to PSVR. When they first announced Solaris and didn't say PSVR, I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like you've got a very loyal fan base who's being very, very patient with you, right? Because I think they dropped the news about Solaris during one of the firewall outages, right? And
Yeah.
It was it's like, what a kick in the face. And then, I think they had to do this to save face. I don't know if this was in their initial plans, but it's good that they're doing it now. Otherwise we'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought initially it was just some sort of like exclusivity, like funding deal with Oculus. Like, hey, you guys have the most popular first-person shooter. Like, we'll pay you to have a game just for Oculus.
Right.
But that seems to not be the case because they're releasing PSVR. So,
good.
I don't know.
I'm glad you reset, Dave. It seems like everything's running smooth over there now.
Yeah, I hope it stays this way.
Nice. All right, AJ, what's next up on the docket?
Sony Worldwide Studios president Shuhei Yoshida
Heard of that guy.
Recently did an interview. Some might know of him. He's kind of a big deal. But yeah, he recently did an interview, and it brought up something that I thought was interesting to talk about and discuss. And essentially, he was talking about just how VR has come along in its ways, and we've got probably almost 5 million now. I wouldn't be surprised if we're at 5 million users right now. But he was talking about how basically he's really excited for Iron Man, and thought Concrete Genie was really cool. Of course, he gave a shout out to a couple other games like Last Labyrinth, a couple other ones. And something he said, though, I thought was really interesting was that he said basically that users who are familiar with VR are becoming more and more aggressive. Says, quote, I want to move more freely, and, quote, I want to experience many things. So what it sounds like to me is that the word is getting out. I think when they originally launched PSVR, they said, let's use the Move controllers because we don't know. It's kind of not proven yet. We don't know how people are going to respond. And I think when they launched this, they kind of expected a lot of people to just be interested in very simple, like concept tech demo kind of experiences. And, it's funny to me that, I'm glad that they're starting to come around, and I guess they didn't realize that there was going to be a bunch of crazy assholes like us that are like, we want it all. Like, we want to be launched from a cannon into space, and we want to, do all these crazy things. We don't want blinders. We don't want comfort options. Of course, I have no problem with comfort options, but I want them to be options to be able to remove them. So just an interesting discussion piece. And, I'm wondering if now they're going to start gearing up to really cut things loose and really put people in these more and more crazy situations with VR.
Yeah, there's the number of times I saw in descriptions of games the words short, bite-sized levels that are, quote, perfect for VR. And like, you have no idea who your hardcore VR audience is if that's that's kind of verbiage you're using. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. And so, yeah, no, I get it, man. It's like, if they didn't think a lot of people were going to like be okay with the motion sickness aspect, or a lot of people weren't going to suffer from motion sickness, then yeah, the Move controllers make perfect sense. If they thought 90% of people were just could be happy teleporting around, then it makes perfect sense. And I'm glad they're saying something now. I'm glad,
exactly,
because for so long all we heard was that Sony's really strict about their certification process, and like blinders and everything have to be on by default so people don't get sick. And now we're finally hearing some some behind the scenes stuff where they're like, oh, we're kind of fucking shocked that people are so hardcore about this.
Yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of the credit goes to this amazing community that we're a part of, and just being vocal whenever, like, somebody, I think it was actually Jamie from Upload Again, who said, like, he said, like, quit giving people a hard time for getting motion sick. And I couldn't agree more. I'm not mad at people because they're getting sick, but I can get mad at developers for not having the option or the awareness there's so many developers still making games where it's like there's click turn only, or there's blinders, force blinders only.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you know, it just, to me, it shows that there's still, no matter how much we get the word out, there's still so many people that are just unaware of how much we care about no blinders, or you know, the option to remove them, like I said.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the other thing too is we see a lot of games coming out still that are not from this like generation of VR development.
Right.
Like ports that people have been working on for a while that are early PC VR games that are still showing up here. And it's like they're stuck in that past version of what VR implementation was. And I think as we get into the next gen, like PS5 and stuff, we'll start getting people who are developing, starting at a point where they know that people want that. And they know that's like required and how to implement it the right way. So I think as we move forward, that'll be less and less of an issue. Yeah.
Absolutely. But we got to do our part. We got to be vocal about it. And, you know, be
For sure.
polite about it, and, you know, vote with your wallets and stuff. But, you know, it just sucks when I see a really good game that's hindered by these the snap turning and stuff like that, and then it doesn't look as good when you're streaming it and stuff like that. So people that want to share it, people that are watching, I don't know about you guys, but when I watch a game and it has snap turning, it gives me a freaking headache. So it's like you're almost, and like you said,
for
these
me,
are the people that are buying this, playing this. You're not really helping out either way. I don't know.
Yeah, and there are cases too where like I end up using click turning because the smooth turning is so poorly implemented, or there's no options.
Right.
Like I'll say LA Noire, which just came out, and you would think Rockstar would have a slider for how fast you want to turn, but the smooth turning is so slow that I have to use click turning. It's just way easier to actually get anything done, and I start ignoring it after a while. But that's the kind of thing you don't want to see, because I'd prefer to be smooth turning. Obviously, it just doesn't feel that good. So
yeah, there's a weird thing with and I know we're going to talk more about LA Noire soon, but there's a weird thing with their smooth turning where it's like there's this acceleration thing that happens. You hold it down and it starts slow, like, and then moves faster. And if there's one thing we've always heard, I think the top guys were the ones who like really drove the point home. They said if you put acceleration in your game, that's what's going to make people sick. And so to have acceleration in the turning mechanic alone, I was like, that's a great, brilliant move there on their part.
Right.
You know, but anyway, it's good, man. It was good to hear somebody, a key person. If there's one key person in Sony we wanted to hear talking about PSVR, it's definitely YoSP. You know,
absolutely,
that guy's awesome, and I'll know.
Love hearing him.
The day I get to interview him, I will just like, I'm gonna hang up my without parole jacket and say,
rest in peace.
I've done everything.
I've done my job. I've done my job here.
Yeah. So if anybody wants this channel to shut down, just get me an interview with him, and we'll be gone forever.
The last video is just walking off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Hey!
It's gonna be a Japanese sunset. It's gonna be just a big red sunset.
Oh, I love it! I love it.
That worked perfectly.
Do you have the
I've
sound
got
effects
nothing.
ready?
Do you want to give us one?
I already did it.
Thank you, Nihilus Ryan, the game feline, for the $5 donation. Looking forward to the reviews for all of these new games lately. Dude, I am also looking forward to these reviews. I just got to find time. If you guys noticed, there's been so many effing videos on the channel lately. I just got to find time to get some reviews done. It's been stressing me the fuck out, for sure.
Don't worry, guys. He'll have them all done tomorrow.
Yeah, don't worry. He's going to stay up till 7 a.m. again. Just working for you guys.
Awesome.
If anybody doesn't know, by the way, you can tip us during the stream, and we will interrupt whatever it is we're talking about to read your comment. So keep that in mind.
And make a funny sound, apparently.
This is how I pay for pizza. Thank you very much.
So next up, for all you physical edition collectors out there, I've got some great news for you. 4 games are going to have physical editions releasing soon. Perp Games has recently announced that they're going to be partnering with Servios, an amazing VR developer that we know and love around here. Very good call on their part. Yeah. And they're going to release a physical edition for Battlewake and for The Walking Dead. And obviously, I think Battlewake, do I have a release date for that? Battlewake is November 2nd? 15th.
15th. Oof. Glad you had that information.
And then The Walking Dead is going to be later down the line. We don't Walking Dead's going to be released. I was hoping by October, but that doesn't seem like the case anymore. So In addition to Battlewake and The Walking Dead, they're also going to be Demo is going to be getting. This is I don't think this is with this is actually with Limited Run thing. Demo, which we talked about, is going to be getting a physical release later on down the line. We know that game.
I might pick that one up. That sounds pretty good.
And then literally right before the GAMESCAST, Bryan told me, AJ, Polybius is getting a physical edition release.
Shit.
You're welcome,
crazy.
Joystick Guru, and
Nice.
someone else. I know some people are happy about that.
I love Polybius, man. That game is awesome.
It's all right.
Wait, it's all right. What do you mean it's all right?
It's not AJ's kind of thing. It's not his kind of thing.
You know, I actually gave it another try before the top 5 games you might have missed. I actually played it again, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, man. Like,
I feel like it just doesn't click with you. Some people it doesn't click with, and I totally understand. It's a weird fucking game.
The thing is I enjoy it, but I enjoy it for about 5 minutes, and then I leave, and then I come back, play it, enjoy it for 5 minutes, leave. It's not something that like I can sit there and sink hundreds of hours into, or even tens of hours into. I can literally play it for like 5-10 minutes at a time. It's got some nice modes though. It's visually, it's a crisp game. It looks great. Music's kind of cool. I love the 2 different modes or whatever different modes that it has. So not bad stuff, But
We're
really
talking about the
excited
same game. What do you mean 2 different modes?
It had, when I played it, it actually had a really big patch recently. I thought the patch
I didn't
notes,
know that.
Yeah, I thought the patch notes said that it was all bug fixes, but it seemed like there was like a 2 different modes or something like that. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I know the majority of people like the game. I'm definitely not saying anything bad about it.
It's batshit crazy. It's just like balls to the wall bonkers. There's like weird text popping up everywhere. I remember famously, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here, but one of the mods of the PSVR subreddit was like, I can't play this game because it keeps telling me not to eat cheese and it's getting into my head. And it's just like one of these brief subliminal messages that like pops on and you don't even pay attention because there's so much shit coming at your face. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that's a great game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's there's so many games we consider arcade games, but this is just straight up a game that feels like an arcade game from the 1980s. That's Rust full force in the VR, like running at 120 frames a second.
And it makes sense because the guy who made Tempest 2000 or something like that, like he did those old arcade games that looked pretty much exactly the same as this.
Bogeyman Productions says Jeff Minter is a legend. Commodore 64 is one of my fave shooters ever.
Yeah, Jeff Minter's amazing for sure.
I think Iridis Alpha, wasn't he going to be the next James Bond? Just kidding. Sorry, that was a terrible joke.
I don't know why I got it. Like, I don't know what's worse, the joke or the fact that I got it.
I mean, Idris Elba is a well-known actor.
Everybody
knows Idris Elba. You haven't seen The Wire, Brian?
But I don't think anyone's going to get that.
Yeah, that's for me.
I don't understand pop culture.
That was for me.
I apologize. I don't understand it. Yep.
Pacific Rim, baby. That's where I first knew him from. That's such a weird way to know him. But anyways, moving on. You guys have a giveaway for you all. I think, what's the giveaway this week? Is it Battlewake?
We got
It is indeed
2 copies of the North American digital Battlewake giveaway.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I picked them, but then I had to restart my computer, so they have been unpicked. So I'm going to pick them again.
It's cool.
Apologies to the first people who won. You'll never know.
Never know.
Just one guy. I can't remember his name, so I won't say it.
Nice. I'm excited, man. Like we always forget to actually do the giveaways on the show, so I'm really happy that we remember to do it.
We really do. Yeah. So but no, I think physical editions are really important. I see so many comments on the channel saying, really angry that there's so many digital only PSVR games. And yeah, I mean, Perp Games is doing their best to try and keep up with that. But it's just something that it's just going to be a lot of digital games until then. There's so many independent developers. A lot of games are going to have to prove themselves. But really good on them for getting with Survios. I love that partnership because, like I said, Survios always makes really good games, in my opinion. So
yeah, Battlewake is a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to Walking Dead too. So I got a winner here for you.
All right.
Good luck.
The first 2 people, you should know out there, everyone. I got 2 winners first, but they didn't put their PSN name in the comment, and that means you don't win. You can't win. You got to put your PSN in the comment.
I mean, that was the only
that's the rule.
That was the only rule to enter. Yeah.
So those people won't know who they are, so they can't be too disappointed. But the winner is Seat Heat 1, whose PSN name is also Seat Heat 1. So easy enough to remember. Mm-hmm. I've got heated seats in my car. It's never useful because I live in Florida.
Fancy.
It's never useful because I live in Florida, and it's black leather anyway, so it's like already hot as balls. But
can I come down to Florida, take your seats out of your car, and install them in my Jeep because it's always fucking cold here?
Honestly, if you could give me non-leather seats, I would take that trade-off. Because I don't know why I got black leather seats. I'm a fucking moron. I'm a moron.
The heat doesn't even work in my Jeep.
At least you have a white car, so...
Yeah. So you can see all the pollen all over it.
My car is black, and I don't know why I decided to do that, because it feels like it's just
it's a heat collector.
Who's our second winner, Dave?
We're doing them both right now?
Let's do them both. Otherwise, we'll totally forget. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, if you can copy and paste those and send them to me, just so I get the exact names.
Okay, fair. Let me write the first.
Ooh, I can't wait to talk about this next one too.
All right, so the second winner is going to be a guy named Base E HXC. So his PSN is Base HXC, and he says, "New PSVR owner here. I love your videos. Keep up the good work."
Compliments get you nowhere, except in this case, it helped.
You accidentally won, even though you gave a comment. Still won.
Yeah, been a lot of positivity
it increases
in the comments.
Your chances by.
Does it though?
1%.
Sandra Cirrus likes that. Sandra Cirrus likes that. You know who I'm talking about.
Sandra Cries. I still call it Sandra Cries.
She redid her whole website. Now it says Sandra Cirrus Art, and it says beauty, music, and colors underneath it. I don't know why. This is a YouTube random comment picker. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but.
All right, time to move on. Congratulations to both of our winners, Seat Heat 1 and Base HXX. Or HXC. Yeah,
He's hardcore into base. HX.
Congratulations.
That was an interesting radio announcement voice. I like that.
Was that like a frog from the Star Fox game?
You guys got to know, I just do shit. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? But no, I am actually super I'm super excited to talk about this. I know we don't have much to go off of, but Pixel Ripped 1995, we've gotten the first screenshot from that team over there, and
I know why you're excited. I know why you're excited.
Because
I am too.
They basically show, like Bryan said in the breaking news report, you can see this picture. I don't know if, Bryan, you have the picture ready.
Oh yeah, they can't even see us. They can only see the picture.
Nice, cool. So it shows a couple things in the picture. It's got like, the TV, the Super Famicom. Of course, a lot of people have played Pixel Rip 1989. If you haven't yet, you really should, especially if you're a retro gamer. But the main thing that piqued my interest here is that the game and the tweet that they did said hashtag Castlevania. Ooh, yes. Pixel Rip, you just get me, baby. You just get me.
I was really excited about that too, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked that I had to check and double check and recheck to make sure this was actually a screenshot, and I kind of couldn't believe that it was, because whatever's going on in this room is kind of stunning, and to see.
Yeah.
Right, and then to see the Castlevania Super Castlevania 4 style game going on in the television, and of course it's Dot, from Pixel Ripped, dressed up
right
to kind of like fit that mold.
Badass.
So cool.
And they got the bat, the skeleton. It looks like there's like the.
Let's fade back to it. Here we go.
There's definitely some like castle stuff going on there. Man, Super Castlevania 4. I know it's not a popular opinion. Super Castlevania 4 is my favorite Castlevania. I think along with like Mr. Sonic, a couple of the Game Cats. So what's so funny is Mega Man 2 was like one of the first games that got me into video games. Like I remember seeing the box art for Mega Man 2 and being like, this is amazing. And like, if you look at it now, it's kind of funny, and that's what 1989 was based off of. So this series just gets me, man. And I couldn't be more excited to play it. I actually thought it was going to be like more PlayStation style, unless Unless that is meant to be more Castlevania Symphony of the Night. But what year was that? Was that
It
97?
didn't look too much like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, I think this is just the next small step. There's a game out right now called Back in 1995, and I've played it a little bit, and it kind of mimics that original like Silent Hill 3D perspective, with like low res polygons and stuff. And I'll tell you something. It's awful. I mean, like the game might be fine, but man, it's so hard to go back to that style after getting accustomed to what we've done. Whereas, what's that?
What is awful?
The game back in
old
1995
PS1 style.
Okay, not Castlevania 4.
No. There's a game out right now called Back in 1995.
Okay, good.
That basically just plays out like the original Silent Hill, like it does the weird camera changes and the low res
I know what you're talking
polygons.
about, actually.
Yeah, and I tried to play it, and I was like, I get what they're doing here, but like it's just, and as much as I'm nostalgic for the games I played on PlayStation 1, you can't just mimic that style. You can't just pull a Shovel Knight, mimic the style of that era, right, and then make me feel nostalgic for that era. I actually have to go back and play the games that I played in 1995 to feel nostalgia for them. It just doesn't age well at all.
Yeah, there is one game that I had heard was really good in that style, like a Silent Hill 2 kind of thing. But I can't remember the name of it. There was some buzz around it. It's like an indie game. I guess it's not helpful if I can't think of it. Yeah. Side note, how do you guys feel about Castlevania Bloodlines?
You
guys ever played that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got the Genesis Mini and I haven't tried out the Castlevania that's on there yet.
Oh, that's the second one. Yeah, I haven't played much of it. Sonic likes it, but
you don't have a whip, which is really strange.
That's weird.
Well, that's got like all the characters, different characters you can choose from, right?
I think it had two, and one of them's like an American guy, and his name had some stupid name. I don't remember.
That's one of the very few Castlevanias I haven't had it. Well, there's like 40, so
there's quite a few. Yeah.
But yeah, just couldn't be more excited for this. Unfortunately, nothing from OC6 has shown through yet. I know people are playing it at the demo, so hopefully have some more news on that soon.
Oh, they have a playable demo at Oculus?
They are demoing it at
behind
OC6 right now.
Closed doors, though. It doesn't seem to be a public thing.
I
Like they have to make an appointment. So I think this is their way of kind of like keeping gameplay footage concealed and stuff. I was hoping that we'd get something from OC6, but I don't think we're going to.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm sure we'll get some news soon.
Yeah, they did do a surprise release of that new Darth Vader Chapter 2, which I think people are pretty excited about. Apparently there's like you fight a Rancor, and there's all kinds of stuff Star Wars nerds would like. Cool. You can use Force throwing and whatever.
I'm not a Star Wars nerd, but I love Star Wars video games. They're usually pretty fun.
The first one was great, so I'm excited to try this one out. I played like 10 minutes of it, so I don't really know yet.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter PSVR.
Oh, yes, please, Jesus.
Yep. All right, so you guys excited for this one? Because I am.
Excited for...
You gotta tell me what it is first.
Oh yeah, Pixar of 1995. Absolutely, man. I was like, what are we talking about? I thought we were trying to predict the next news story, but yeah.
Well, I will tell you, we got something pretty funny to talk about actually here. There is...
It's probably copyrighted, and we're going to get shut down because I'm going to show the trailer.
There is actually supposed to be a movie, filmed for VR called Agent Emerson VR, and it's supposed to be coming. It's going to be coming to PC first in like November, December, something like that, and then we're going to get it after. But we'll watch this trailer. It looks like a B action movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's an interesting concept. I'm a little worried. There's actually a lot of interest in movies for PSVR. A lot of people love to watch movies, which is why I included this because it's just interesting to me. But movie looks okay. Looks kind of like they said, kind of low budget and stuff. However, I think the concept is pretty cool though, and if it can get past the resolution hurdle. It could be fun. It would be fun to check out, fun to try.
Yeah, like we talked about before the show, I've never seen a game that uses 360 video in a way that actually looks good or feels good.
Right.
And so this does appear to use 360 video, and even in the trailer, it doesn't look that crisp sometimes. So it's like, we'll see what we get, because you don't always get that depth and that feeling of being in VR. It feels like there's just a thing wrapped around your face. And half the scenes in the trailer are just people punching at you. Or like,
Yeah, I know.
I hope you guys can see the sword scene because that thing is incredible.
Oh man, real quick shout out to MacGyver's cousin. Got the $5 donation. Says cousin Mac sends pizza money.
Right.
Thank
I'm glad
you,
he's
cousin
in
Mac.
on that joke now.
I would appreciate next time if he sends like $1 that was made from I don't know toothpicks and aluminum foil.
Brian can't use $1 made of toothpicks to pay for pizza, so
Do not question.
I mean,
do
I
not
can-
question MacGyver.
I can
okay?
try to give it to the
That's
delivery
Hugh's
guy as a
cousin.
tip. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna work.
You
Sir,
show
this is
Hugh's cousin some freaking respect, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing.
A lot of people are talking about Hardcore Henry. That was like one of the very first person movies. This is like, to me, this is kind of having what that was missing, which was like actually made for VR instead of just first person. So just something I thought was a little funny, got a nice little laugh at it. But I will definitely watch it when it drops.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would focus more on doing this kind of stuff in like VR 180, where it's like this much of your vision and you don't have to turn behind you.
Right.
Because when in a movie would you want to have a section that you can't see unless you turn around? Like you could miss a whole part of the movie. And that always looks way better as far as depth goes. Like those VR 360 things, just it's harder to get the resolution there. It's harder to get the sense of depth because there's so much more there that isn't even necessary most of the time. Like if there's a lady fighting you with a sword right in front of you, why should I be able to turn around and look over there? Like who cares? I don't need to do that.
Right.
So I think VR 180 is a much better format for film kind of stuff, unless it's one of those things like Crow or Alumet where it's actually rendered in a game engine, because then it looks good and there are reasons to look around and it can wait for you to look at something and like.
See, the Crow didn't look good to me. Alumet looked beautiful, but the Crow just didn't work for me at all. Like there was like some pulling and stuff when I turned my head, and there was
It was a little bit, but yeah.
there
I
was
mean,
there was some VR 180 stuff that I watched on some app or another that I was like pretty impressed with. I was like, oh, this is cool. It was not. It wasn't porn. I have watched VR porn. I'm not gonna lie.
I just like how you said on some app or another. I was like,
it wasn't Little Star. Whatever it was, it certainly wasn't that. No. Listen, if you give me a dick, I'm gonna grab it.
all right.
Throwback to last week for anyone who doesn't know. Yeah, no. VR. Actually, the VR porn I've watched, it was actually better than the VR 180 stuff that I watched on whatever app it was.
They've always said porn is kind of what drives technology forward. Like if you can do porn on something, people will, and that's like almost the trailblazers of a new technology. Like they're putting money into the best quality cameras and rendering and shit that they can, when other people are just dipping their toes in it because they're like, we know they're gonna buy porn. We know they're gonna buy. Like, everybody knows. So,
I'll tell you what though. In terms of this, I am much more excited for big screen VR. I know we've talked about it a few times already.
Yeah.
Big screen VR is supposed to be
awesome.
Early 2020. That's designed for VR, where you can all sit in a movie theater together. We're going to watch a shit ton of horror movies and lots of other stuff together. And that's mostly what's going to get me excited is big screen.
Are we going to watch porn as a big group or what's happening?
No, you know what's so weird to
Only
me?
if we can live stream it.
You know what's so weird to me?
I have a feeling.
On Quest, when you go to big screen and you're on there at like midnight or something, you'll scroll through and there's rooms of people just sitting there together watching porn. I'm like, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. It's kind of a solitary experience, I don't want like 5 other guys chatting about the porn that's happening. But big screen is great. I love big screen. So, and I assume there won't be porn rooms on PSVR.
Assuming that's probably the case. Right. Somebody will hack it. Let's hope they can hack it.
Funny stuff though. This movie might be some cheesy fun, so we'll see.
Yeah,
it'll be cheesy, that's for sure.
Here's gonna be awesome.
Here's the thing. People talk all the time about how when they don't have control, like motion sickness when they don't have control over the action, and then this movie's got your hands up in front of you, and it just really kills the immersion when your hands are doing something that your real hands aren't. I was like, I just don't. Yeah. I guess I'm just not the audience for this, because for me, I'm like, I don't even want to watch this. I'll watch it just as a curiosity, but I'm not interested at all. So
I think most people like the 3D effect. I think that's what people don't just watch movies in VR whatever. They watch the 3D movies, so I
I'm
think
just
they
saying,
like
I'm just
that
saying,
part about it.
360 video is notoriously terrible at having any depth to it at all.
Right.
It doesn't usually have
It's like
a
you
3D
said. Usually,
quality.
when it's like you said, when it's graphics and stuff, when it's CGI, it looks better than when it's actually like a film thing. The
Yeah, well,
resolution's just not there yet.
and there's kind of a mix between those. Like, I don't want to go too deep, but if you guys ever tried that Zach Bell experience,
Yeah.
you remember that?
Mhm.
That thing looked awesome.
Really
and you
cool.
could get up and look around and like move around, change angles and stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I think really would push, like, cinematic stuff forward. Like, if it's just going to be very VR but an action movie,
Ugh.
I don't give a fuck about that.
Right. No.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good to move on though. But
We've
yeah,
talked about Agent
thanks.
Emerson to death.
We
Yes.
have. Now, real quick, Brian, do I look like a bunch of pixels? Because to me, you look like a bunch of pixels.
So my stream health over here is fluctuating wildly for some reason.
Okay.
So yeah, we got to get through a little bit of a bumpy patch here, and then everything should be fine.
All right, cool.
Yep. All right, moving on. What's next, AJ?
All right. So, earlier, I think it was last week, we said we were getting a trailer for Pistol Whip. I keep wanting to say Pistol Whipped because
Yeah.
Pixel Ripped. But yeah, so we've finally got the actual trailer, and it showed off like a little bit more gameplay. They gave like a bunch of release dates. However, they didn't really give us anything concrete for PSVR. They said later on down the line. So,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I was a little bit more excited from the teaser that they showed before leading up to this. When they showed the thing, I'm like, oh, it's kind of just more of what's in the thing. But I think overall, I think the gameplay is going to be really fun. It looks like if it brings together all the gameplay, the colors, everything, I think it could be a lot of fun. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, this looks like this. I mean, so here's the thing, right? My initial impression, I think might have said this the last time they showed this game off, was it kind of looks like Beat Blaster, but like with a better art design and maybe a few more things to do. And if that's the case, but it's done really well, then awesome. It's we can always use another arcade shooter. I think the art style is very cool, but I don't know. Like, I think it's one of those that you don't really know how good it is until you get in there and play it for yourself.
Right.
I love the soundtrack. It's like all sorts of wobbly dubstep, and you throw that in. Like, I
see a lot of John Wick in this. I see a lot of John Wick when he's like in that concert area, and like it's got like the bass booming and everything. So I don't know. I think if the music can really grab me, then I think I'll enjoy it. If I enjoy the music, I feel like I'll like this game.
Are the environments like pulsating to the beat of the music, or is there any
It
kind
seems
of...
that way. It seems that way. Like, everything sort of is very stylized and seemed to be kind of moving in a way from what I remember in the trailer. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, I think again, this is one of those games where it has to be priced accordingly, because I feel like I think once you get the basic mechanics down, you're gonna go, okay, this is cool. Like Beat Blaster, I spent a long time with, but I really would have probably dropped out after the first 10 levels if it wasn't that I was
This looks
reviewing it.
way better to me than Beat Blaster.
Sure.
Because Beat Blaster was so much about like these little finicky things that you'd barely touch and then you'd die.
Yeah.
And it was like you were just like it's like threading this tiny needle through a bunch of dangerous stuff. And it just got frustrating. This is a shooting game and you hit people. That sounds way more fun. I don't think I'm going to run into a spinning fan on the ground behind me that I didn't see and be like, oh, God damn it. Like, it looks a lot more satisfying to me. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious what coming soon means. I know they said it's going to take longer to do PSVR because it's their first PSVR game. I'm a little irritated that it's their first PSVR game, to be honest, because these are the guys who did the Gallery, or Call of the Emberstone, of all those. If you guys remember the adventure games that were on PC VR, and they said a long time ago that Episode 2. Do you remember this? They were like, Episode 2 is coming, and we're like, you didn't give us Episode 1. Do you remember this? And
I don't actually know.
Yeah, they basically promised, and I'm pretty sure, I want to say it was Kev Gret. Kev Gret's like a little VR sleuth out there. He actually contacted them, and they were like, yeah, it's going to come after Pistol Whipped. We're still bringing the Gallery to PlayStation VR. Which is like, oh, cool. That's cool.
Interesting.
So
After pistol whip.
Did I say
Pistol whip?
What I said?
You said pixel ripped, I think.
There you go.
That's what I said.
We shouldn't put these back to back.
I know.
We shouldn't put these
apologize
back to back
for
on the
those
news.
right there. My bad.
Damn it.
But no, yeah, definitely want to see more on this game, but looking good so far. Looks like another rhythm-based super hot kind of deal. Definitely looks like a good introductory to VR, but it depends on how polished it is and how much content it has. So
yeah,
and variety.
Hey, I just want to. So sorry to interrupt you, dude, but I do want to give a shout out to Sarah from 190 who's in the chat. After I played LA Noire the other night, after I did my stream, I was like, okay, that's it. I've had a long day. I'm laying down in bed and I'm going to sleep. But before I did, I tuned into his live stream, and he was having way more fun than me. I was like, man, maybe I'm playing this thing wrong, because man, Seraphim was so much fun to watch. He was just really getting into it, and I don't think I've enjoyed a live stream like that in such a long time. And maybe it's because I haven't watched Seraphim in a little while.
Yeah, it really hurts because I was having a lot of fun with LA Noire, and you watched me too, and I don't hear any. This
was before you played it. This was prior, so you know. Everything got watered down the more I watched.
I see.
Finally got to you, and it was
just a slap fight enough times. You can only see a man crash his police car into pedestrians,
slap other dudes. Like how many times?
I love driving. Okay, well, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to it. But shout out to Sarah.
Awesome, man. So next up, we have a free update that just dropped for Crisis Brigade yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I'm really sorry.
Very recently.
But they dropped Sumalab. It is Sumalab, right?
Sumalab.
They dropped the ransom level, which is the third free DLC, and got to do a little live stream on this. Absolutely loved it. I know a lot of people are kind of divided on this game, though. You know, I kept hearing, man, that looks great if I could get to that level. So, you know, to me, I feel like they need to introduce something like some kind of option, more lives. They need to put in an easier mode with more lives. It's just, I don't like the fact that so many people want to play this and can't. That's kind of a problem to me.
See, okay, so here's my take on that. This game is supposed to be really hard, right?
Right.
You know, like do you want like a Dark Souls game to put an easy mode in? Right? It's like the point is to die over and over, learn enemy locations, and get better, right? And I'm not saying that in like any kind of pejorative way. But you really do. You can't. You're not supposed to be able to play this and get through. It's a 6 minutes. That's the thing that drives me insane, right? The alarm thing pops up and he's like, says you have 6 minutes, I think, to beat the level, and you're like, oh, no problem, I can survive for 6 minutes. But it's like, no, every single time, like dead. You slowly make your way further and further and further as you learn enemy locations and enemy patterns. And I understand the frustration, I really do. But man, it's so rewarding once you finally do it that you're like, oh, once you've beaten it, you go, I'm really glad I toughed that out.
There's just times where it's frustrating for me and it's not fun hard. I love Crisis Brigade, though. I really like it. And the one thing that we didn't talk about yet is that they didn't just add a new level. They kind of redid the whole game. Like, it looks different now.
The lobby, I think, different something.
No, the first level looks completely... I mean, it's the same layout. It's the same design. But they've done something to the graphics that it just looks way better. Everything was always really crisp before, but I noticed immediately as soon as I popped in, they've improved this somehow.
That's good to hear because I thought I was crazy. So
no, they definitely did. I've seen other people say that too on Reddit and stuff. So it's not just us, but yeah, they definitely
like a lighting thing or a shading thing or something.
It might be the scale too. I feel like it's almost like a little more zoomed out. I don't know. I only played it for a little bit, but I will say there are times though that I just get frustrated instead of that fun difficulty because they'll spawn you in a location that doesn't even really have cover. Like there's one spot in the first level where you spawn out in the open and you get fucking shot immediately, like no matter what you do. And it's just like, if a guy can shoot me the second I pop in and there's nothing I can do about it, I don't know. That's not that much fun. But it's few and far between. It's not like that the whole way through. So Deadbringer says my volume is way louder than you guys.
Is that
true?
Maybe
just.
I think I backed off of the mic. I backed off the mic, so I probably got quieter by.
I got to be honest with you. When I first played this game, I was
turned myself down a little bit.
The biggest fan of it. But when they tweaked it some when I started to understand it more, like you said. And I think especially like the aim support, this game has really grown on me. So I think it can be a little blunt up like first, but I do think it is worth. I will say the one thing though is that, dude, my legs are still sore.
You have to crouch so much.
I was crouching, I was weaving, I was dodging bullets, and it made it more fun. But I'm also like legit in pain.
yeah, that's how it goes, man.
But that's probably just me just being out of shape and stuff.
No, dude, I'm out of shape too, but a lot of people are, and it gets to you.
I think having we go back to options. I just think having the options for the ones that don't want. I think you get the people that are like, put it on hard mode or whatever. Put it on. I really don't see who the hell is playing this game on hell or whatever it's called.
Oh my god, no, it wouldn't be fun.
Nobody is playing this on that difficulty. I can guarantee, well, maybe like one or two people, but I would be surprised if there are even one or two people that are playing this game on hell.
I totally agree with you on that.
I think there has to be a good balance between challenge and fun. You can make games. I've played games that are very challenging, but also like really fun and rewarding too. And this one has the reward and stuff, but I don't know. It just it doesn't seem like it reaches out to enough people, and I hate to take away the option of or just thing, but just give the option. Like I really think it needs an option, to be honest with you.
Keep in mind
there are enough buttons that aren't being used that you could easily have a crouch button like you do in actual Time Crisis, like something to crouch. That would be so helpful. That would open up the game to like 50% more people in terms of being accessible and fun to play, I think. But
keep in mind that the Sumo Lab's ridiculously small team, right? It's only a couple of dudes, and
you could add a crouch button.
No, they could do a lot of things, I'm sure. But the fact is that they've chosen to dedicate their time to making more content, and again, improving what's there. But they haven't really added any gameplay elements.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, and the fact is that I think that since they've already announced Crisis Brigade 2.
Yes.
There's going to be like probably a ton of improvements and probably things that people are looking for, like options, possibly a crouch button, who knows? And so I think they're probably just saving those advancements, those additions for the sequel, and being like, this is what Crisis Brigade 1 is, here's some extra levels, but Crisis Brigade 2 is going to be our next big advancement.
And I would be totally down with that. I'm looking forward to whatever they got, because like I said, I like this game.
I really got to say, I really... Final thoughts, I mean, I've pretty much already said, is I love it with the aim controller. I know you said you're a moves controller guy with this, right?
Yeah.
I use the moves too. I love the reload system. The reload system is so satisfying, and it just works. The only problem, I will say, is when you're ducking so much, it's inevitable that you sometimes get out of the camera view. And so that reaching down to grab your ammo, your hand is like floating off in the distance and stuff. Yeah. And in the middle of a firefight, that can kind of throw you off.
And I did say this on the breaking news report, but keep in mind that if you are interested in this game, this game launched at $6, and it was remained $6 for a little while after they added the second level. But then after like maybe a week or so, it jumped up to $9. And so now that we have the third mission, I wouldn't. It's not out of the question that they might raise the price again to like $10 or $12 or something like that in another few days.
Which is still a fair price.
Totally still a fair price.
I love what they've done with the game ever since adding. If you would have said just the first level alone, I would have said, nah, don't really care for it. Ever since adding all three of these levels now, I think it's awesome. Yep. That it's made that much of a difference for me.
Man, that's funny because I'm so bad at it. I still haven't gotten to the new levels.
Either one?
I didn't get to the second one. And then the third one, you also have to... So these new levels, you have to actually get a high score to unlock.
50,000 points, which is basically beating the level.
Yeah,
I got really close. I got to the end of the level and died. And I got like 47,000 points. So you have to basically just beat the level, and you get like 100,000 points, and that's what it is. So yeah, looking forward to Crisis Brigade 2. I hope it looks better. This could be like one of my favorites eventually. One of my like favorite things I like to follow for PSVR. because I love the direction it's heading in.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was on the list this way, but this seems like a great time to segue into House of the Dead.
Yes. So
Okay.
we want to talk about some quick too. This is a perfect segue about arcade shooters on the subject, but we got news today that Forever Entertainment are publishing I guess they might be working on. They're publishing a remake of House of the Dead 1 and 2 for multiple platforms, including PS4. And I wanted to see, chat, what did you think? Guys, what do you think? I would love to see this get VR support. I actually tweeted after this was revealed, I tweeted that if Sega and PlayStation make VR support for this, just take my house, take my car, take Nick Mulo, take it all.
I'm gonna live in the headset and only play House of the
Did
Dead.
you just say take Nick Mulo?
Yes,
They can
no.
have
You
it.
know what? No, take Kev Grant. You keep Nick Mulo stays with us. You take Kev Grant.
They can choose which one they want.
No, I'm just kidding. But I would just absolutely die to see this. I don't know, like if they bring it. So it's coming to PS4. What's it going to use? Is it going to use the PlayStation camera already? Because that's like 50% of the work already done.
Yeah,
It seems
I have
like.
to imagine, like, I don't know how it would even be fun to play House of the Dead with a controller, like a DualShock 4, unless they did light bar tracking, but either way, that requires the camera.
That would take away from it so much.
Well, no, I'm saying, of course, but it would be better than just regular DualShock 4. But I haven't seen many games or any games on PS4 flat that use the camera and moves, but if this one did, I would, even without VR, I would love to play a light gun House of the Dead game on my TV at this time, but VR is definitely a good idea. We'll see if they do it or not. I don't know.
Yeah, this was a great thing, like when the moves first launched, 8 years ago, because the greatest thing was to be able to play House of the Dead Overkill, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles, Dark Side Chronicles, all even like crappy light gun shooters like The Shoot, that they made specifically for PlayStation Move, were like, it was fun because just like light gun shooters are my jam, and they've been my jam since like, I guess since they were a thing. Since Operation
forever.
Wolf,
I remember.
Look at all that
playing
love.
Time Crisis
Lethal
1 and
Enforcers.
2 with the GunCon. Yeah, Lethal Enforcers, Virtua Cop, all that
Virtua
shit.
Maximum Force.
Yeah.
Area
Speaking of which,
51, if you said that.
Oh god, yeah. Just to briefly come back to the Crisis Brigade, I think one thing that would like make it a lot more accessible for people, and people would like more about the difficulty, is if you had one of those Virtua Cop like red circles that said "This guy's about to shoot you."
Yeah.
Because that is so useful
Well,
in a light gun shooter game.
There are like little dial clock things, the little what are they called? The little sand dial things that you can shoot those and it slows down time. You get bullet time. So
oh yeah, and I'm
there's
just saying, like, just that indicator that someone is going to shoot you is really helpful, because I don't ever know when I pop my head out who's going to shoot me. If I did, then I'd know what to do.
I bought they didn't make 1 and 2. What I'm excited is that 2 is actually probably one of the House of the Deads that I played the most. I used to play all the time with my brother.
That's like,
and they never remade that for PS3. They remastered 3, 4, and they made Overkill, which they remastered from the Wii and brought it over. And you had the move controllers, you had these little gun accessories, the sharpshooter, all these different things. There's also the Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles. And JB in the chat says, who made Carnival in the arcades? That would be awesome to see. I wanted that until Rush of Blood. Rush of Blood is the reason I bought a PSVR, and it delivered that Carnival experience for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that
it's got to have move support.
Remaking House of the Dead 1 is a necessity because Sega lost the source code like years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why like ever since the Saturn, you've never seen House of the Dead 1 again because they lost the source code. Like I don't know who's in charge over there, but I mean it sounds like Sega was a complete shit show for a long time, and so that's why you haven't seen a remake of it at any point. When we got House of the Dead 3, 4, and Overkill, there's a good reason we didn't get the first one. So it needed to be remade at some point, and I just really hope that now that Sega's kind of licensing out things like Space Channel 5 for VR. I'm kind of hoping that this is sort of like that just goes hand in hand with that, being like, hey, throw some VR support onto that too.
Yeah, it's not going to be. They've also said it's not going to be like a 1-to-1 remake, but it's going to be very close, like as much as authentic as possible. So yeah, I would just love to see that series come to VR, and as well as every other like kind of arcade game.
Absolutely,
possible.
Please.
Just had to get that off my chest.
Thank
you guys for listening.
Well, then moving along, then we got the biggest news of the week, right? Is State of Play.
Yep.
Which,
absolutely.
Thank you everybody who hung out and watched State of Play with us. We know that you could have just gone to like the PlayStation YouTube channel and just watched it there without a bunch of fools talking over it. And it means a whole lot to us that you guys hung out with us and talked and wanted to actually hear our responses to it.
Yeah. Well, there were some people who hung out and watched, but for some reason didn't want to hear our responses, and they were like, "Why are these guys talking over the whole thing?" And it's like, dude, just go watch it on PlayStation site. What's the problem?
Yeah, no, for sure. But the first thing, and I think the coolest thing was that we didn't realize at all that when they were teasing State of Play and saying here it comes, that they were actually using imagery from a game that they were about to reveal, and that was Humanity. So
yeah, anytime I see enhanced games and VR,
right,
I'm on board. What
have they made, Dave?
They've made Res Infinite. They've really made also, I'm blanking, Tetris Effect, of course.
Also
Tetris
really
Effect.
good.
And then I don't know if Enhance handled it, but the Luminous remaster that came out, it's not VR, but it's still good.
That was Enhanced, or it was Mizuguchi, but it wasn't. But yeah,
it's like cute.
But yeah,
Tetris Effect and
Res Infinite.
Res Infinite, both awesome games. He always has this. He's known for combining like the music and the visuals together, and then making like some kind of gameplay with it, and trying to make it like relaxing, spiritual, emotional, kind of things like that. So really unique. And this game got me. I have no idea what to expect from this, but
I don't know what it is.
It almost looks like Pikmin or like Lemmings.
Or Lemmings, yeah.
Well,
and people start shooting each other with guns and stuff, and you're just like, what's happening in this game? But it's very, it's got me interested. It piqued my interest.
I think in our Discord, Justin Credible was saying it reminded him of The Last Guy. Remember The Last Guy on PS3? And I couldn't agree more that it totally reminds me of The Last Guy.
I never played that one.
But yeah, no. But when you start like digging deeper into the trailer and like looking at trying to see if there are gameplay elements being displayed here, it seems certainly that there are. Right? It does seem very Lemmings like, where there are arrows and you're trying to sort of funnel your crowd of people to those arrows to get them to turn that direction and then get him to a goal. So I'm curious to know, when you saw the crowd shooting at other parts of the crowd, if that's something like, okay, we want this crowd to make it to the end, but we don't want this crowd to make it to the end. They're bad lemmings or something,
I kind of love that I have no clue what's going on, because I know when I play the game, it'll make sense, and I'll be like, this shit is crazy. Yeah. Whatever it is, it looks crazy to me. So
they'll be releasing a little bit more info on it. They've been giving a little bit, but they haven't said anything like fully, like gone really in depth. But they've been hinting at what to expect and stuff. And you can definitely go find that. I think it was like a PS blog or something like that. But
it's such a great read on the PlayStation blog. One of the guys from THA, the development team, was talking about how this whole thing is sort of like how they were saying, like, when you look at birds flying in the sky, it seems like they're all flying in unison and like in a pattern, but it's just because of the way they act instinctually that it makes it look like that. And then so they were saying, well, what would alien invaders think of the human race if they saw him from a distance, and they saw everybody moving in patterns? And the guy was saying that he was fortunate enough to live in Tokyo, where like there's just crowds of people all the time, and he compares it to like big herds of people moving into a subway, and like seeing it from a distance, it looks like a pattern. Here, people move in, the thing goes off, people move in, the thing goes off, and I found that fascinating. And if that actually translates well into the game, I'm going to be like super impressed.
Yeah, that actually reminds me a lot. I don't know if any of you guys or anyone in the chat has seen this movie Koyaanisqatsi. You guys ever heard of that? Koyaanisqatsi?
I have not.
It's pretty experimental. It's a lot of just like time delayed or sped up nature stuff for the first half, but filmed in a certain kind of way. And then it sort of has a message later that you get to, but it shows a lot of people moving in that way. Like there are a lot of scenes after the initial nature part where it's just like, look at the way people move around. And once you have it sped up and you get a certain angle, it's like, oh my God, that's exactly what you're talking about. Like it reminds you of the clouds you saw 20 minutes ago because it moves in that same sort of like natural pattern that you can only see from a certain perspective. So yeah, anyways, cool movie. Philip Glass did the soundtrack.
So the yeah, really, I know Dave's excited about this. I'm sure Bryan is too. I am as well. Sure. Are you guys excited for Humanity? Let us know in the chat below. Next up, we do have another game that was announced at State of Play, and that is going to be one I cannot wait. I'm just going to sit back and listen to you guys talk about this one, and that's going to be L.A. Noire, the VR case files. And I got to say, before I let you guys go, I loved Dave's stream. I was cracking up. I was doing other things while that was going on. And great stream, Dave.
It was a fun way to return to streaming. It was a fun way to come back because that game gives you so much freedom to fuck around, which is what made it feel like a real Rockstar first VR experience. Like when I realized I could drive the car anywhere,
right,
and run into anybody, run over people, they would react, slam into a car, the guy would get out and be like, "What the hell, dude?" Like you can even open the car doors of people as they pass by. It's just very Rockstar, and it was a lot of fun. Bryan, I'll let you talk first, though.
Oh, I'm going to say that I was totally shocked when I found out that you could just walk anywhere you wanted in the city. That they'd actually rendered this entire thing, because it does seem at first that like there's there's so many loading screens between each segment that it just seems like they're loading in a piece of the city. And I just totally expected there to be invisible walls, and that I was like, okay, well, this is the part of the city that this part takes place in, and then and this is going to be it. And the fact that the entire city, it was just kind of fascinating, because I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen anything like this on PlayStation VR.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't think of anything.
Yeah. But as far as the gameplay itself, like driving is fun as hell. Right.
It is.
We're all on the same page. Driving's fun as hell in this
game.
Oh,
yeah. No, it's so good. And at first you're like, these are weird controls.
Yeah.
And you'll say that throughout the whole game. But the driving is one where they actually pulled it off, where it feels right the second you get it. Like walking and the gun stuff, it's not always ideal. But the driving just clicks. And you're like, okay, I'm just driving. It's so easy. I can do whatever I want. And it's just so much fun. It's so satisfying, and you go pretty goddamn fast too.
You do.
Like
you do.
Is this their first game that they've done in VR?
In VR, yeah.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. I mean, I've been hearing great things about the graphics. It looked.
Oh, it looks incredible. It looks very, very good.
It looked very polished. Looked nice. I know I've been hearing kind of mixed things about the controls, but overall, I've been hearing honestly pretty positive things. Definitely some issues, and maybe especially with the price. But
it seems like a decently long game though, because like I finished my stream and it put me back to the main menu or whatever, and I was like, oh, was that the whole thing? And then I realized that I had only played like the first 2 out of like 7 or 8 missions, and it seems like there's a decent amount there. Does anyone know if they're recreated from the existing game or if they're new?
So I get some angry comments from people who had played the original game. I played the original game 9 years ago when it came out.
Me too, yeah.
Day one, I beat it first week it came out, right? But I
loved it.
Raging alcoholic. I don't really remember much of it. I remember like some of the cases and stuff, and some of the stuff that that happened in the game. But yeah, no, I kind of had to relearn everything playing through this. And so some of the angry comments I got were, if you had any idea what you were talking about, then if you ever played this game before, you would have had a better idea of how to play the VR version. I'm like, okay, I don't remember anything from 9 years ago, so I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, apparently a lot of it is recreated from the original.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and apologies to anyone who watched the stream and was like, this is so difficult to watch. You should have tried playing it. It's not an easy game to play. Like, right, the controls are. It seems like all the controls aren't mapped the way they should be.
Can I ask you guys something?
Yeah.
Is it a 1, 2, or 3?
Oh, that's a hard one. I really like it. Once you get over I mean, you don't actually really ever get over the control issues,
So
but
real quick too, let me say, one is must have, two is if you're really into it,
It's the why we
or
love
if it's
scale.
on sale,
yeah.
or three, don't buy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, it seems like it's mostly a two in terms of
Yeah.
if you really like LA Noire, then you will enjoy it. But it's gonna be a little pricey, so
I would say a 2 leaning towards a 1 for me.
Yeah.
I think it's closer to a 1 because even if you didn't like LA Noire or didn't ever play LA Noire, this is a cool experience. It's really, for the most part, well done. There are rough edges, obviously, but just that freedom of being able to get in a car and drive around this whole city. There's no pop-in, there's no loading screens in that part. That is unprecedented on PlayStation VR, and it looks and feels good. And then the game around those segments is great. Like the interviewing people, the facial animations look really good. I don't know. It's there's no clunkiness when you're doing some of the elements that don't involve moving around. So when you're interrogating people, it's very straightforward. You don't like mess up the controls. It's you know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was probably going to pick this up anyway, but to be honest with you, after everything you guys said and after what I see most people saying, I think it's going to be a 1 for me personally. I think
you should pick it up. Yeah, you should pick it up.
I'm going to say, as far as the rating goes, I haven't beaten it yet, but I will say already I feel like it's a weak one because I think this is something that will blow people's socks off when they finally play it on PSVR, right? There are so many great things about it. The things it does well, it does very, very well. And man, just like deal with the crap that comes along with it. It's like do I wish that that it was the controls were mapped a little bit better when you're out of the car? Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah. Do I wish that like everything was a little easier to read? Yeah, absolutely. But it's fine. It's something I haven't
basically
seen
hearing
before.
I'm basically hearing that it's really awesome, but it has some flaws. So
Yeah. It's a very weak one. Like everybody should play it, but keep your expectations in check. There are problems.
Yeah, but then also it's got that sort of like slapstick fun element. You can go around and do stuff that's just entertaining.
Yeah.
And that is kind of also unprecedented. I mean, there are plenty of games where you can do stuff that's fun, but the openness of this one to do whatever you feel like that's fun is pretty cool. So yeah, I would say week 1 sounds about right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. At first, everyone was like, "Oh my god, $30 sounds so expensive." But when you see the level of quality here, I think you're going to go,
Yeah.
You know what? This is $30 well spent.
For
Cool.
sure.
Makes me excited to play it now.
Absolutely. We'll talk about it more next week, I'm sure, when I finally get to beat it and you get to play it.
Yep.
All right. What's next, AJ?
So we had. There's going to be a lot of excited people about this one. Gorn was showcased. This is where the sizzle reel began during the showcase. They quickly showed like a bunch of different games during the state of play, and the first one was Gorn, which I'm assuming stands for gore porn because it's nothing but just violence, basically mindless violence. And
I didn't think about that. That might be legit.
Yeah, of course.
I never thought of that. That's great.
It makes sense to me, anyways. Because the game's just so damn violent, and like I don't see like what the hell does Gorn mean? What happens if like I'm gonna Google Gorn right now? I don't think it might just show up. Gorn dictionary, but
I don't think Gorn means it. It's not a word.
I
don't think it's a word.
I'm not gonna go by that. What Google's telling me.
Oh, now I have to Google it.
Yeah. But anyways, what's up, Rudy?
Can I read it? The Gorn are a fictional extraterrestrial humanoid reptilian species in the American science fiction franchise Star Trek. They first appeared in 1967 episode of the original series Arena, in which Captain Kirk fights an unnamed Gorn on a rocky planet.
I know that guy.
I've seen them.
I didn't know they were.
Okay, but the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, that's probably what I saw.
So it defined as a Woody word from Monty Python's Woody and Tinny skit. This word is also told to bring confidence to its woody nature. Gorn, what the hell? I've seen a lot of Monty Python in my life. I don't remember that skit at all.
So we, yeah, I know, right? But we've been obviously there's tons of hype around this game, and I really liked what I saw in the quick sizzle reel. I thought it looked a lot more polished. When I first saw this game, it didn't look like it had that polish. It looked very flat, like a lot of flat colors and stuff. And something about it just seemed a lot more smooth.
It popped.
And I love seeing
It
like
popped,
yeah. And so like depth wise, gameplay wise, I still think it besides a couple more weapons, it's really just going to be about like how much you want to mutilate things.
Well, it's like what Rage Room should have been.
Right.
Exactly what Rage Room should have been. A place where you can go and have stupid fun, beating up stuff. And it looks, I mean, this looks way better than any game like that we've had so far. So, yeah, I mean, I think I see why people are excited about it. And it's got a huge following on PC.
Yep.
Yeah. And it usually reviews pretty well. So that was the first one, Winter 2019. They've already said before that it's supposed to be coming this year. Their goal is Winter 2019. Might be a little closer than we thought it was. I mean, time's running out, obviously, but I mean,
there's
at least
only
we know it's this year.
So when I was working on my breaking news report yesterday, I did a search to find out exactly what the dates of Winter in 2019 are. And man, it is like the very, very end of the year. Man, it is like there's only
it's until like November, like mid-November.
I think it's even later.
So maybe a December title. Maybe late.
I wouldn't
November,
be surprised.
December.
Yeah,
it would be a good kind of, hey, I just got a PSVR game.
Winter begins in 2019 on December 21st. So there's only like 1 week. so they're basically saying the last week in December you're going to get Gorn.
December. Bam.
Yeah.
There it is. It's going to come on Christmas.
Seraphim says Gorn is a game that lets you empty the darkness stored up in the soul. I think that's probably about right. That's probably about right.
I do want those crab claws, though. Those crab claws look a lot of fun. And just...
Sure. I want those in real life. Make life way more.
Yeah, they would. It's like that, you ever had that plastic claw thing with like the trigger that didn't actually
where you
grab
pick
anything?
up stuff?
I think it's just a grabber, actually, is what it's called. Just a grabber. But
yeah, I've had one of those. It would look like a T-Rex face.
Try and pick up stuff around the house with one of those. But so the next game, this was actually one that came out of nowhere. We did not see this before, and it's called Stardust Odyssey. And I thought at first that maybe it had something to do with the what is it? There's like a Stardust franchise, right?
Super Stardust.
Super Stardust. I thought it was going to be some kind of sequel to that. That was wrong. This is made by, I believe, somebody else now. Yeah. And we got a little bit more info. They haven't really said a whole bunch. This is another winter. I bet you they're just saying Winter 2019 and not realizing that
it narrows it down very much.
Yeah,
I think most people
mean once it starts getting cold is what they mean.
Yeah. Well, in Florida, that barely happens at all.
I don't see all these games releasing very last week of December. But so this one's kind of interesting because visually it really pops. It looks really nice. I love the variety of colors and stuff. But that you're going to be basically controlling these ships. They have like a name for them, but and it's going to be set in like a French sci-fi setting where it's actually, even though it looks like sci-fi, they're saying it's not a hard sci-fi and that it's actually going to feature lots of basic things to it, like materials such as like wood and metal and like really primitive items in the game. So kind of an interesting mix here, and they're going to have you basically traveling through seas and deserts, not space. As much as it looks like space, it's actually not.
Yeah, so I read that blog post too, and actually the French sci-fi thing you were talking about, if anybody is into comics or, like you said, French sci-fi, they specifically name-dropped Mobius in that. Right. And I know somebody in the chat knows who Mobius is, because he's like a big figure. There was this point at which like him and Jodorowsky were going to make a Dune movie, and it looked fucking insane. There's a documentary about the movie they didn't make. But yeah, like if it's anything like that Mobius stuff, it's going to be really cool visually and stylized, like very, very fun. They also mentioned like the Silk Road, which is, I think, why they said the sea and the desert kind of areas and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm rambling. Let's continue.
Well, so just FYI, for anyone who is looking at that trailer and going, why are you showing State of Play again? There was no like lengthy trailer for Stardust why such a generic name? What the hell's the name of this game?
Humanity?
No.
Oh, Stardust Odyssey.
Stardust Odyssey. It's too many things that sound just like it, right? So Stardust Odyssey is like so there was only like a short little clip from it, and I didn't have that short little clip ready to go. But man, it looks a lot like it looks a lot like Bout of Blood, right? So that's an issue I think right off the bat. They're kind of fighting an uphill battle already
because they're trying to make it really deep, and it's gonna push people away. It does have co-op though.
Yeah, 2 players. They're calling it a 2-player space shooter. I'm like, that's interesting. That's kind of like reducing it down to I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they literally said it's not supposed to be in space though. They said it's supposed to be something down. It's supposed to be across deserts and seas, and they're going to be imitating the Silk Road, basically.
Yeah. So the company who makes it is Argata Studios,
Argata, something.
Agharta.
Have they made
how you
other
pronounce
stuff
it
first?
They've made something that a lot of people are familiar with called Shufflepuck Cantina Deluxe VR, and like there's a lot of people out there who are like very passionate about this thing, and they're actually saying, oh, now that these guys are developing a game for PlayStation VR, maybe we'll get Shufflepuck Cantina Deluxe for PlayStation VR as well. And so but that's the thing. It's like it's just there's not enough information about this and what separates it from something like Bout of Blood. But man, like the few seconds that they showed of this game,
the gameplay definitely did look like.
Yeah, it's like you're controlling this big ship, and you're also like you've also got to pick up guns and shoot things, from first person perspective from right there and at the captain's helm. It just seems so similar that I think they're going to have a hard time differentiating themselves.
The only thing for me is if the gameplay is closer to like a Battlewake than a Bout of Blood.
It looks like Bout of Blood.
It looks like Bout of Blood, but it plays like Battlewake. If Bout of Blood played like Battlewake.
I like the way Battlewake looks, though. That's the problem. And plays.
Me too. No, but what I'm saying is more people would be into Bout of Blood if it played like Battlewake.
Right.
Combination of those two, and it meets in the middle somewhere. Play that.
Brody's in the game, the chat saying Fifth Element, Indiana Jones, Blade Runner, Star Wars, tons of movies ripped off Jodorowsky's Dune. So
the Mobius
right.
thing I was talking about.
It's good to have influences. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great to have awesome influences, but like they just haven't.
Love that.
That's all we've sort of heard about this is what their influences are, not exactly what like the moment to moment gameplay is, which is. I don't know, a little disconcerting. Again, it's just a couple months away. Like I'm sure we're going to learn more.
I usually like French art design, though, like the way like French art, French sci-fi stuff. So I'm really interested. This game has really got my attention so far visually, and then the co-op. And other than that, it's like I don't really care.
Hopefully they'll find a way to get all of us excited about it as the release date approaches. Like it's just right now they showed off so little and told us so little that it's hard to get excited.
Right. So, moving on. Are you guys, let us know, you guys in the chat, are you excited about Stardust Odyssey? Because at the time I was like, whoa, that looks really good. And then the more I learned about it, I'm like, maybe, I don't know. But, Bryan, you've got to be excited about this next one. We got an announcement for a game that's going to be coming to us, and it is called After the Fall. And it is another game by Vertigo Games, and it's another zombie shooter.
They know what they like, or they know what they're capable.
I think they know what they're good at selling, and I don't think the answer is Stormland or Stormwind or whatever it's called, Stormland. What do you guys think of? What do you think of this one? Because they didn't really show a whole lot, but curious to see.
Showed of the atmosphere and the environments and stuff looked way different and way better than Arizona Sunshine.
Yeah.
New level of polish that they've achieved, and maybe I think Arizona Sunshine did sell a lot of copies.
Oh, absolutely.
So they probably were able to expand and improve.
It's one of the it's like one of the most popular PC VR games.
And so I think that kind of carries hype. It carries the hype over with it.
Yeah, it always falls on the top 10 list of like the best-selling PSVR games. It's like just month after month. I'm like, it's always there for some reason.
Yeah, zombies, man,
and it's fine. Yeah, I mean, like I love zombies. I love shooting things in VR. I mean, it does a lot of things right. But yeah, no, like Dave said, there's a level of polish here we did not see from Vertigo Games before. And to be able to add, and this again, like I said at the beginning of the show, this is the game they were talking about where they said they're making a much faster paced shooter than their last outing. So I think we're going to see the speed of this, you get the running speed and everything like that, and just like the non-stop action kind of
Yeah,
pushes to
you
a new
also
level.
see the hordes of zombies moving at you very quickly, almost like it's like the new World War Z game or something,
Yes.
or Left 4 Dead or something like that. Whereas in Arizona Sunshine, you don't get fast-moving hordes of zombies; they're sort of ambling around, and you
Right.
shoot them in the head.
You
So
can literally like walk around them and stuff.
yeah,
This is
exactly.
supposed to be
So
faster paced, right?
this looks much more intense. So I'm down.
Also
down.
co-op.
I kept finding myself surrounded in Arizona Sunshine. You know the part where like you have to put the crank in like and put the bridge down.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would always find myself surrounded. There'd be like 20 zombies around me. I'm like, I give up. I just need to reload my save game.
So,
But yeah, there's
lots of people are saying this kind of looks like Dying Light, and it seems like there's tons of Dying Light fans here that are kind of excited. So this is, I think they said, what, 2020 for
2020.
this one.
And the fact that they're like, they want you to explore the environment. Again, something that Arizona Sunshine didn't do much of. They want you to explore the environment. They want you to scavenge the wasteland. They want you to there's crafting. So I think that's
the RPG elements that they said. There's two things that excite me about this: the 1 to 4 player co-op, and then the RPG elements sound really cool to me. That has my attention.
I mean, when you say 4-player co-op, first of all, that's kind of an achievement for a game like this on PSVR.
If it is co-op, I don't know if it's 4-player. I would imagine it's 4-player co-op.
I hope so, because that is what is starting to sound like Left 4 Dead in VR, which is what I want. That's what I want.
I mean, they had a wave shooter mode in Arizona Sunshine, so I'm hoping like this campaign is 4-player co-op. Left 4 Dead was the shit. I totally agree. I loved it. And if this is faster paced, has like some upgrade elements, stuff like that, would love a story too. It could really win me over with a lot of that stuff. But I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing and hearing so far. Lots of potential.
Yeah, what's funny is that this looks like the most complete game that they showed, and it's the furthest one out. So I'm with no specific release date for 2020, it could be anywhere, right? With this game could be a full year out. We have no idea, and so I'm curious to see like how much more they reveal over the next few months.
Yeah, and there's a chance too. I mean, as someone else mentioned, Humanity. Earlier, I think someone in chat said it looks like it could be a PS5 game also, and this could be a PS5 game. Like we don't know that.
2020,
where the other 2020 does theoretically contain the PS5 somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the thing is, even if it's a PS4 game, it's going to work on the PS5. So we already know it's a PS5 game. Any game that's a PS4 game is going to be a PS5 game. So,
and I think we'll see a period of like, when PS4, PS3, that transition where they would release games on both platforms and they just were a little better on PS4, like a pro version versus a regular version.
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Yeah, so I think they'll do the same thing as we start to see the transition where stuff will run on PSVR on a PS4, but not nearly as well. And if you have a PS5, it's like beautiful.
Right.
So
I'm not going to hold off of anything that comes out to PS4 first. I'm going to enjoy every single thing I can on the PS4. That's why I got a Pro. But once I get the PS5, then it's just 110% forward. Like Bloodborne. Like I don't think Bloodborne came out on PS3, and you couldn't have that on PS3. So, once I get the PS5, I'm all in. But until then, I'm all about the PS4.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm getting the PS5 the day it fucking
unless
comes
it's close.
out. Honestly,
unless it's close. If it's like this game's coming out, and if you wait 1 month more, you can play it on the PS5, and it's like way better. Yeah, then I'll wait. But I don't know, maybe. But
for anyone like Cole Robinson in the chat who says, "I pray that the PSVR can work with the PS5." Is that confirmed? Just so everyone's aware, it is confirmed. You can use your current headset on PlayStation 5, and all of your PlayStation 4 games will be backward compatible on PS5. So there's no.
So wait about 3 weeks until the PSVR anniversary. And everything's going to be going on sale. Yes, buy every game that's on sale that looks like you like it. Watch our reviews, our discussions, our GameCast, whatever. Our top list, now the top 5 list. And get your PSVR headset because you're going to want that for the launch of PS5. Oh, yes, you are.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
So After the Fall is probably one of my most anticipated games for PSVR at this point. It just checks all of those boxes for me. It's everything that I want. I love shooting zombies. I love teaming up with some people to defend yourselves. crafting is something I didn't care about until PlayStation VR. I like crafting now, and this just does everything I want it to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Vertigo Games has learned in their next step, as far as VR development goes.
Absolutely.
Ooh, good one.
Let's move on.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So the last one I just want to touch real quick on. We've already talked about nauseam practically, but it's Space Channel 5. I love the look of this game. Every time they show something, I see something new that makes me more excited. Last time for Space Channel 5, it was that you're dancing and stuff, but as you're dancing, if you nail the moves right, the enemy swipes at you and it like misses and stuff. So I imagine that's going to be the way it works with the attacks as well. You do certain patterns and then it sends an attack. The thing that caught my attention here is that it said co-op. I had no idea.
Oh, I didn't know it was co-op. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I missed that too.
You missed that? It says 2-player co-op in this trailer that they
Whoa.
showed.
Sweet.
And that. So
I wonder how you did that.
I really hope it's not local. I hope it's online.
I know. It's
2-player simultaneous co-op right there. Just popped up in the trailer. I missed it every time.
Yeah. So that was something I know. I was just looking. I don't remember what I was watching, but I was like, oh. Actually, I think I was watching your news report. Yeah, 2-player co-op in Space Channel 5. That's pretty badass. I'm more, like I said, every single time they show it, I'm more excited about it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I just hope that's online because I don't want somebody, standing next to me while I do this.
yeah, right.
Don't get away from me. We can do this in separate rooms, please. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, Yuki Colt 45 Rainman says, I'm confused about Space Channel 5. What is it?
Oh.
It's a port of a Dreamcast game or a remake, some kind of new version of this Dreamcast game that is a rhythm game where you play as this kind of intergalactic space like reporter, like a TV personality. Ooh la la, ooh la la. And it's very cute. There's all these enemies that are aliens that you fight. And it's pretty much just like call and response rhythm game. They say, chew, chew, chew. And that means like down, down, left. And then you do it. And it's chew, chew, chew. And your guys shoot the guy. There's plenty of footage of Space Channel 5 that exists out there. And it looks to be pretty much the exact same thing, just in VR.
Yeah.
So.
I gotta say too, there is a shit ton of hype for this game. So there is a hardcore fan base for
Dreamcast, man.
Yeah, there is a lot of excitement. I see messages everywhere. Space Shuttle 5. So yeah, I think this is gonna actually be a really good one.
It's one of those games where because it has that like history of like retro gamers, anybody about our age, whatever, like has fond memories of those old Sega games, you know. Crazy Taxi, Space Channel 5, anything like that.
Don't say Crazy Taxi. That's all I really want in VR. Just want Crazy Taxi VR.
I saw footage of a guy playing it in VR on PC.
I saw that too. I did see that.
It looked fun.
Yeah,
man.
But
I've got that remaster on PS3.
But so that's one of those games where, like, even though maybe regular hardcore PSVR players who aren't into that old stuff don't know or care about it, like Kotaku will put an article up about Space Channel 5 and ignore every other VR game that's been released just to be like, hey, Space Channel 5, we have a little tidbit of news, because it has that reach. It has that, fan base already.
Right.
So be great.
And that's another one. Unfortunately, the only thing we don't know, though, I mean, I think they just said like winter 2019, so don't know. But
actually, am I wrong? Did this one say? I think this one might have said autumn 2019.
Autumn 2019.
Aren't we almost?
Probably.
We're like in.
We're very close because
they've been demoing it a lot recently, so it's got to be close.
Yeah, we've got to be right there. I think the first day of autumn is any day now. So.
Well, cool. But yeah, I'm actually really excited for that. I love variety in games, and VR variety just flourishes.
And then we got an announcement of another new VR game. Is that where we're heading next?
That is, and it's a super popular thing. We've been seeing people talk about it, and it's called The Room VR: A Dark Matter. Yeah. Obviously, mostly everybody knows of The Room, but I'm gonna
about the film.
No,
Tommy Wiseau.
No, not that.
No. That's why somebody said that earlier. I was wondering why somebody said about that.
I did not hit her. I did not.
so bad.
No, but man, I love the look of this one. From what I'm seeing, I'm really glad it has a hardcore base already and like big fan base and stuff. We saw how FNAF, Dave's favorite game, got translated into. God damn it! I tried not to laugh. got translated from a mobile to VR and how well it worked. And at least for what for us, for me and Bryan, lots of people, thousands, Dave, thousands.
Thousands of people like it. Sorry.
Sorry, thousands of people agree with Dave as well.
Yeah, it's true. But from this trailer, I love the idea. I love adventure, and adventure in VR is great.
Yep.
And being around a creepy museum, it speaks to me. So I'm excited about this one for sure.
I feel like so many escape room games that we've gotten on PlayStation VR so far, 18 Floors, Dying Reborn, have all taken their influence from The Room, the iOS and Android mobile game, and so it just seems to make sense that that we're finally getting an official Room VR. Like the people who really popularized the genre, now they're bringing their design elements to or design talents, I guess, to PlayStation VR, which is exciting.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if they're expanding on it. They did say that this is going to be early 2020. So this isn't going to be coming this year, but this is going to be an early 2020 game. I would have loved to play this during the fall, during the thing, especially since it's supposed to be really eerie, kind of creepy, a little bit of horror. But, we love that kind of stuff around here. Like just the way in VR, the way atmosphere builds and, if they do the sound right, everything, man. It just makes for such a bone-chilling experience.
And I'm okay if they bring a spooky game out, early next year. It's like Christmas in July, right? It's like we get October all year round if they just kind of scatter these things around.
There you go.
I'm totally happy with that. I hate waiting until October to get scary movies and scary video games. Scatter them out throughout the course of the year. I'll play them all day, every day.
I definitely think I think the launch of a game is very important. I feel like a lot of games, if they don't get it at launch, then they have to do something crazy to get attention again. And, I definitely feel like obviously this is not going to need any because it's so popular already. But a lot of games, just to your point or to what you were saying, I think they would definitely have a lot more success launching within that theme of, if it's a scary game, launching on Halloween, I think more people are likely to get it. But
but you already said this isn't a scary game. This is just kind of has a kind of a spooky motif. Which is cool. It's cool. It's kind of like a universal game. You don't have to isolate it to just October.
Cave Panic, the So Fucking Game Cat, with the $2 donation saying, "Can we get Saw VR Escape Room Sacrifice Link, etc." I've been hearing that a lot. I remember I think Reth said that too. And love the name change, Cave Panic. I don't think I like it as much as Top 5 Game Cat, but
Got to give Jeremy some love. I love it.
I've been hearing, dude, absolutely. It was for his, for him joining the Why We Love episode. So, absolutely.
Thanks for the donation, Cave Panic. We love you.
Thank you. But I've been hearing people say Saw VR. Man, that would be cool. Yeah. I want to play a game.
Yeah, because I think Saw VR again, I think when Dying Reborn came out, everyone was like, "Oh, this is like the Saw VR kind of game, that we're looking for," and right, but it doesn't go as far as a Saw game would, just to have to do some just horrible things to escape your your torture devices. I would have loved to see what they could get away with in a Saw game.
Would be awesome. But, I guess I'll at least, I remember you played one or two of the FNAF games on mobile. I'm actually interested in this. I don't know if the rest are like this, have this museum look. I wouldn't assume so, but it actually looks pretty big. I know it's called The Room, but it really seems like it's several rooms. I don't know. Is it just going to be one museum room? Because it shows a map and stuff and it says museum. So it's kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a long time. I haven't actually played a game called The Room ever in my life, right? But my friends have shown it to me before and been like, "Hey, check out this game. It's called The Room. You would absolutely love this." And they showed it to me on their phone. And who knows? But I'm pretty sure it's a lot of rooms. It's probably the whole museum. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to comment on real quick here. There's a guy in the chat, Mean Green 420, who says movies in theaters are going VR 2022. Now, I don't agree to that.
I hope
I
not.
don't think that's true.
How am I
But
going
I
to make
think-
out in the back row?
Well, here's what I'm saying though. I think what I've seen already, and
So I was laughing. AJ did the whole.
no, I know. But I think I've already seen and will continue to see like VR experiences at movie theaters where you pay a few bucks and you go into like, say, like a little Spider-Man experience, like when the Spider-Man movie is coming out. That's already started happening, and I think that's going to continue to happen because theaters are already having trouble getting money. Yeah. So if they can get people in there like after the film, before the film, with a little VR experience that costs like $5-10, I think we're going to see a lot more of that moving forward. So you won't be in the theater watching VR, but there will be VR in the theater somewhere that you can go hang out with and check out.
From a sanitary perspective alone, it's not something I want to do. I do not like Dave and I were talking the other night. I just bought a new PSVR headset because mine is showing some wear and I'm having some technical issues.
Yeah, how's the V2, man?
I've used the V2 at trade shows and stuff before, but now it's nice to have my own now. But man, people were like, "What are you gonna do with your old PSVR headset?" And I was like, I don't know, maybe like try to sanitize it. Like it's disgusting, right? I don't want to wear.
Mine was all flaking and stuff too.
Me too. Yeah, I told Bryan
wear anyone else's headset.
Not with the V2
as a giveaway. Send out someone a crusty ass old VR headset that has Bryan's signature on it, and they can just keep it in a case. They don't have to wear it. They shouldn't wear it for biohazard purposes, but you know,
they also shouldn't breathe next to it. It's like that's disgusting. Yeah, I mean, you could just swab it and clone me in a heartbeat, man. It's disgusting. But that's the reason I brought it up is because I don't want to be in a theater sharing headsets. I don't want to wear somebody else's headset because I know how disgusting people are.
Dan Keeper says it's like sharing earbuds.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah. I don't think it's that bad because it's not that going bad. Like
there's no wax. There's no face wax.
I don't know about you guys, but
here's
I keep
what I think.
Baby wipes and stuff, and I keep that shit clean. So
I know that in like in China, those big VR arcades that they have, where like a bunch of people use the same headsets, they give you like your own face mask thing that you put under the headset, so your forehead, your sweaty ass forehead, isn't touching the equipment. I think they probably wipe it down too. So I'm not too worried about the cleanliness, and I assume there's going to be somebody like stationed there,
disposable
somebody who cleans it off after every time. It's not just going to be like, hey, stand here and put on some dusty ass dirty shit.
I want to get that job. I want to be the guy that just cleans VR headsets after every use.
Oh. Yeah. I'm not even like the biggest germaphobe, but yeah, stuff like that, absolutely.
I'm not a germaphobe at all, man. Like my life is just disgusting from top to bottom, you know. And I'm like, but that I'm not interested at all in putting on a headset that anyone else has worn.
Oh man. So. All right. Well, that I'm sorry. That was not even play, but we did get one more trailer for a game we're going to touch base on real quick, and I kind of like what I see here, and that is the Doctor Who trailer that dropped. And you know, there's some things that it confirmed, and there's also some things that, like, some worries that we had that are of, I don't know. It showed a lot of stuff in this trailer, new stuff, finally some gameplay. It did confirm that it is kind of like walk around, mess with stuff, there's going to be puzzles and stuff. However, it actually looks pretty good to me. And I think fans of Doctor Who are definitely going to enjoy this. It looks really polished, and I think it could be really good. The environments are more than just that brown sepia toned environment that it showed originally. Lots more going on.
This is the first I'm seeing of this new trailer with the gameplay, but it looks gorgeous. Honestly, it looks really, really nice. This sci-fi aesthetic it has, like you said, it's not just that one sort of sepia environment. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on here. Right. Yeah. And I don't even care about Doctor Who. Like, I've sort of actively avoided it because of how crazy the people who love Doctor Who are. Like, people get so into Doctor Who.
I want to watch it, honestly. I want to watch it.
But this game looks cool. And if I like it a lot, then I'll be like, I'll watch the show.
Right.
I've had a lot of discussions in the Discord about, you know, I know Nerfenstein was trying to help me out. Yeah, like, you know, like we've had so many conversations about Doctor Who and saying, listen, give me like 6 episodes to watch before I have to review this game. Like, give me like, what are the 6 episodes I need to watch to understand this universe, this world, the characters. And it's, I mean, everyone has a different perspective. This show's been going on forever. There's all different doctors, and it's like I am totally lost. People always say, "Oh, just watch this." And they'll reference like some era of Doctor Who, and I'll be like, no, that doesn't help me. You need to like point to specific episodes, and I'm like,
right.
There is, it's such a rich universe that I'm like, I'm scared to have to review this thing.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're constantly rebooting themselves because they have a different like doctor.
Yeah.
Every time, so I assume that comes with its own story beats and its own separate kind of style. You know, like was that your sound, AJ? Was that
wah. Thank you so much to Diz the Game Cat. He said, "That's a $2.99 donation." Says, "What's up with Racket Fury? Radio silence." I at this point, I'm feeling real bad for the 10 Hill guys.
They have failed their
certification over and over.
Like over and over and over, and those poor guys seem like they're trying really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's going on. VR Ping Pong is almost about to come out too. So
like from the makers of the last bad VR Ping Pong game.
But this one, just so you know, I'm actually going to bring up the trailer because the new one, VR Ping Pong Pro. Let me bring up that trailer. It looks better. Really good, right? I mean, it doesn't take the like the Minecraft, like, you know, pixel style. I mean, it's like realistic environments here, and hopefully they learned a little bit about the physics engine because it seemed too sensitive before. Hopefully they played Racket Fury. They know how a good ping pong game should feel, and they've already said that this game is coming out with multiplayer intact. Like, we're not waiting for multiplayer patch. You know, the developers already got in contact with me, said, "You want to review?" I said, "Absolutely, let's do this thing," and it's coming soon. Right, it's like first week in October. Right. Is that right? And so, like, if Racket Fury doesn't get their patch out, like these guys will sink them immediately.
They're gonna get screwed.
It's who can do it first.
I mean, the thing that I worry about is with a ping pong game, the stuff that matters is not how it looks, but how it feels, the physics.
Yeah.
And Racket Fury actually nailed the physics very well, so well. But their multiplayer, even on Quest, I've heard, which is actually out there. I think we've discussed this before, but people say kind of mixed things about it. Like, people aren't consistently there. They kind of warp around, and you can't tell where they're going to hit it from, and it's just janky. So I'm surprised they even got it through on Quest, honestly, from what I've heard on the feedback there. So Sony is even stricter about that kind of stuff, and I think, I don't know, we'll see if it gets here, but it might take a while.
It's a shame, man. They've been months.
Hold on,
man. VR Ping Pong Pro.
Keeper, I know what a dildo is. Oh, I didn't mean to hide your message. I meant to allow it. But
VR Ping Pong Pro just says September 2019. So that's like 4 or 5 days away. So not sure if that's accurate.
That would be nice, though. I mean, if we have a multiplayer ping pong game next week, I'm going to give it a shot.
Is it accurate? Yes, it is accurate.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
It is accurate for sure.
VR Ping Pong Pro coming at the end of this month. Okay. We also know about, like, I guess, Contagion, but all
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's in terms of news, announcements, everything, that wraps that up. So that was the last thing we got. There's a couple more things, but we want to let these games develop a little bit more. There's a couple other games we're looking at, but they really just look. We want them to look good, at least decent, before we show them off. Something to show. Some cool looking games that seem like they're coming out, but they are very early in the process, and we don't want to show them way too early when they're like they have the character models done.
So are we wrapping this thing up? Is that what we're doing?
Well, did we want to talk about Carly and the Reaper Man, or
did you guys play it? I mean, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Actually,
let's talk about it for sure. I totally missed that. I'm sorry.
Ton of it. I played a ton of it, I didn't play a ton of it. I'm sorry. But you did, right?
Yeah, I've actually played this game for a couple hours now. And yeah, it's I love, like, you know, I've always said Jersey Devil, making Jersey Devil comparisons. This game's a little bit more like Jersey Devil than I thought it was going to be. But you have this hub world, and then you go to these different sections, different platforming, different puzzle areas. Definitely pretty challenging. Now, I'm playing it single player. It has local co-op, But single player, you have to use the DualShock 4. It gives you, just like you would Moss or Astrobot, it gives you two little skeleton hands, however, and like R2, L2 is right hand, left hand to grab, and then you use the joystick and run around with Carly and do your platforming stuff. So I love the style of this game. I love the artwork of it, and I gotta say, it is pretty challenging too. So if you like a challenge, then you might like it. The only issues I ran into were a couple. With the DualShock 4, I feel like some of the PS4, I usually never have any tracking problems. I'm usually really good about it. When everyone's like, oh, this game doesn't have good tracking, I'm usually the one that's like, no, you just got to readjust your setup, which kind of sucks. This game has some design, I would say, hurdles where you want to reach left or right, and you want to grab something. And when you reach left or right, that tracking gets lost. So your hand just end up floating off in the distance. So the good thing is, Bryan, you mentioned this on your stream, is that they do give you the option. There is, if you use the joystick, there's click turning. Yeah. But if you hold L1 and R1 and go like this and kind of turn it, it actually does do smooth turning. Now, that kind of eliminates the issue with the smooth turning. However, I would really just prefer to have just the joystick turn the option off and on. Yeah. And then when you use the smooth turning with the L1, it also blacks out the background as well. So the backgrounds are gorgeous, by the way. So I love to see those. I don't want to see them. It wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't really annoying, but the backgrounds are so good. I when I turn, like, I don't want them to be covered up because I just love the way they look. But yeah, platforming is pretty hardcore in this game. I can definitely tell it's going to flourish as a couch co-op game.
Yeah. Because that takes care of so many of your problems, right? When suddenly you have two move controllers for your hands, you're not turning the DualShock 4 controller and going and blocking that light bar from the camera. So playing this with another person, I think, is definitely the way to do it. It's like AJ already said, local couch co-op, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to work with somebody else playing through this.
I legit think this might be the best couch co-op game in VR.
It's such a hard sell, though. Like, it doesn't. I know. How often do you have that situation where you can be like, "Hey, man, come over, and I'm gonna put on the headset, and I won't be able to see you, and you're gonna be doing this on the screen." And like a lot of people, I only have like one friend who would do that, and he doesn't come over that often. So it's like I'm kind of stuck in playing it by myself because these games never offer an online option. Like, I would love to play the flat screen as the flat screen person online with one of you guys in a headset. I wouldn't mind for a second. It'd be fun.
I wouldn't mind the hybrid thing at all. No, not at all.
But when you have that forced kind of requirement of, say, like a Black Hat cooperative, that's a cool game, but it requires you to have somebody else in the room, essentially.
Right.
And this one doesn't essentially require it, but it's so less fun, I feel like, like, you have the DualShock and you have two hands, but it's like you're handcuffed together.
Right.
Your two hands are just like this, and you can't separate them. And it just like, so when I'm doing those block puzzles, I've got to like take this one hand and like boop, and then put this guy under, like I'm in fucking handcuffs. And it's not great. The other thing is, I think part of the reason the platforming is so hard is because it's floaty, and it's not as polished as it could be. I think the platforming part of it, the jumping, the landing on stuff, all that, like it doesn't feel like a modern. It doesn't feel like a modern platforming game the way that Astrobot does. It feels like, in terms of how you can control your character and the feeling of jumping and how that works, there's some really basic things that you got to nail to make a platforming game work well. And I think that they have a very floaty jump, and that's the only move you have.
I'm okay with it. I played through the whole first world, and that wasn't something that even crossed my mind. I thought it felt pretty natural. I mean,
okay, fair enough.
There's all different platformers.
There's little stuff like if you hop up to a thing, grabbing on a ledge and pulling yourself up, or having a little move in the air that like gives you a little bit of a saving grace, like Mario has. Like, there are these things that modern platformers have figured out to make them more user friendly and more comfortable to
It
play.
is challenging for sure.
And well, yeah, but like challenging is one thing, but if the controls are sort of,
I don't blame the controls.
I found them floaty.
No, I don't think they're floaty.
Physics. I'd say the physics, not the controls.
I don't think that doesn't bother me at all. 1%. But I will say the problem with the platforming at times is that, you know, to move around, you have to grab and pull and grab and pull. And when you're trying to run around and then you're like doing like this, like
work, you know, as well as it could.
It's not easy. Like you said, it's not user friendly. You know, Astrobot, the difference here, and I was telling Bryan about this, I think the other day, but the difference is Astrobot and Moss, they put it in front of you and they keep it in front of you. And in some ways it's like, this is better because it gives you the freedom to move around. But when there's a challenge or when it's really tough, you really want to have that like flow to it and stuff. So it both helps it and hurts it in a way by having this huge 3D area. And then, you know, if you're having to run from something, it's just a lot of things you got to do at once. I personally am really enjoying this game, especially because the art style and stuff. And I do really like the platforming. The puzzles are pretty hard for me, though. The puzzles are just in general really hard for me. But there's so much I like about it, but I just don't. I see a lot of people having frustrations like what Dave's talking.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think there's just so much that you have to focus on at once. But there's also a lot of great surprises in this game too. It's a full-length game, and it has like lots of cool surprises, lots of different beautiful areas and like landscapes and colors. And I love this charming underworld look to it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I have to agree like 1,000% on. This game looks awesome. And when it downloaded, it's like 800 megabytes. I was like, how good could this possibly look?
Yeah.
It looks fucking great for being under a gig. Like, it looks so good. And they have a very strong sense of style and what they want to put across. It's like this, not exactly Dia de los Muertos, but like kind of that underworld theme that's colorful. And I guess it is similar to that. It's just a charming art style that I really got into. And it's very crisp. Everything looks good. Yeah. They did a great job on that front, I think.
Voidcat, the game citizen in the chat, says would be nice if they had a co-op mode that allowed both players to play in VR online. I think that would have been the logical answer to kind of alleviate some of our problems, because just like Dave, I only have like one person that would ever sit on a couch and play this with me, and his name's Desra, and he doesn't come over anymore.
Right, and that's the thing. You know, I used to have people every Friday, every weekend and stuff, and like we all got busy, we all got a little separated, so it's not like that anymore. My house is no longer the party hub like it used to be. So,
I feel you on that one, man.
So it's difficult to find somebody to play it with now. It used to be pretty easy, but not anymore.
Magic says, Magic the Game Cat says, does it have buttons for camera rotation and zoom? If you're using the click turning, you're just using the right analog stick to kind of click to turn your view. But really what you're doing to maneuver the world is you kind of grab the world Dino Frontier style and just kind of drag it around. And that to me feels great. I know that like sometimes you have to do it in high pressure situations, so it can be frustrating, but for the most part it feels really good. It feels Dino Frontier good. Yeah. I think that's about it. We're going to have a review. Hopefully we're going to have a review for Carly and the Reaper Man next week. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. A lot of reviews I'm trying to get caught up on, but I'm not in charge of that review. I will keep that a secret until it's done. And
it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to do this review because there's both things that I really like about this game, and there's some problems that it has. And like I said, the problems that this game has are not necessarily the game's fault. I think it's actually, for the first time, I'm actually blaming some of the hardware on some of the issues. So, but I still think there's going to be some people that are going to like this. So it's going to be interesting.
Are you finally reviewing The Mage's Tale?
No.
Is AJ doing The Mage's Tale?
No.
I got excited.
AJ's doing Carly and the Reaper Man. I'm still working on Battlewake in Witching Tower. And then I'll feel like I'm more caught up than we were before. And then, of course, LA Noire, the VR case files, I'm going to have to save until like late next week. But it's all happening. guys. But the big thing is there's always something happening here keeping me from doing reviews. And the next big thing that's happening here keeping me from doing reviews is the PSVR 2019 award show. And that I'm going to be hard at work tonight, kind of narrowing down the categories, finishing, getting the categories worked out, finishing, getting the nominees for each category, and then tomorrow, I'm gonna say right now, let's say noon Eastern tomorrow. I'm gonna write it down because I'm gonna forget. Noon Eastern tomorrow, on our Discord, there's going to be a channel devoted specifically to voting for the 2019 PSVR award show, and that's it, man. You go in and you vote, and the votes are the votes. The winner is the winner. Like this is not a without parole decided thing.
It's not going to take us 8 hours on camera.
You guys are
thank
doing all
goodness.
We're going to have the categories up. You guys are going to do all the votes. We can vote, but we get one vote and that's it.
Yeah, my vote counts just as much as RC Windward's does.
And yeah, last year, if you want to see what this is going to look like, we've got the 2018 award show. Go check it out. This one's going to be really special. So it's always a special time.
I'm so stressed out just thinking about it. We have a bunch of amazing presenters lined up. We have a bunch of amazing categories lined up. We have a bunch of special surprises. But man, I will tell you, there's a lot of work happening behind the scenes. I will say that we are teaming up with Perp to some degree or another to make this thing happen. But we'll reveal a little bit more about that as the day gets closer.
And speaking of which, if you guys don't follow the Perpcast, which is a podcast that Perp Games does, Ray over at Perp does that. Bryan apparently just recorded an episode for that, so he will be interviewed. He's going to be on the other side of the lens there. He's going to be the one getting interviewed. So that should be pretty interesting, guys. Nice. Keep an eye out for that.
I hope they grill the shit out of you.
It was stressful being on the other side of things, like not being in control of what's going on. Like I was just like, I'm at the mercy of Ray and his questions. And there were some questions from some of the cats too. They responded to his tweet on Twitter, and so yeah, I did. I was like, for the first time ever, like somebody was interviewing me, and I was like, this is very strange to be on this side of it. Things. Jay Meow, yes, the voting will be on Discord. Weren't you paying attention? Meow meow J Dow. So yeah, make sure you join our Discord server because that is where the voting will happen. And again, noon tomorrow, the PSVR 2019 award show channel will be up there, and that's where all the voting will happen. Yeah, we got a whole lot of work to do.
Brian's going to be at 11 a.m. putting that together.
Oh, man,
everything happens last minute here. That's how it works.
Center 669 says Battlewake needs the soundtrack to work. Has anybody played it? Does it still not work?
Jesus Christ.
I don't think they've patched it yet. I haven't seen any patches.
So weird.
So weird.
Anyways,
it's still fun without the soundtrack. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but it would be better though.
Yeah, you certainly will not see Battlewake in the best soundtrack category for PlayStation VR 2019 award show.
That will be a category.
We should have a category just best missing soundtrack, best perceived soundtrack,
best soundtrack that never was,
best implied soundtrack. There's got to be a category for this thing. So, all right, you guys, this has been yet another wicked long PSVR GamesCast live. So I just want to make sure that, to reiterate to everybody, make sure you join our Discord server. The link is in the description so you can get in on all the voting. Make sure you tell us if you're coming to the 2019 GameCat meetup. That's happening at Six Flags on October 19th. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Make sure you subscribe to AJ over at PSVR Underground on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Dave at Davestation VR on YouTube because he started streaming again. We're all very, very proud of you, Dave.
Yeah.
It was a great stream.
It was fun. It got me out of my funk. I was like, wow, this is easy and awesome, and you guys are great. And it was just a good time. So nice. I'm going to try and get back into it more.
Thank you to every single person who donated. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you to everybody who hung out in the chat and watched us for the last 2.5 hours. My name's Bryan. That's AJ. That's Davestation. And we love you all.
Woo! Yes, we do.
Hey.
Thank you so much. Sarah from 190. Still time to GameCat. You are late. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, dude? Suburban Chicken. Great tantrum. 97 Skynet, the T800 GameCat. I know we've got to give him a shout out for
Viewer Takeover.
But goddamn, I got to say, I almost commented when I saw that comment from him because I was like, I am in love with this username. This is up there with Bob Zarkov, the Underground Davestation GameCat. It is that good. I love it.
Leading the pack right now, but
you are pulling my heartstrings. Jason Liven, thank you so much, man. Verse Panther, hi. Brody, good to see you, man. One word. Blasphemy. J-Meow, Colt 45 Rayman, Yuki. Thank you guys so much, man.
I do like the owl-headed peacock feathered
That's-
game cat.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a
too.
real
That's
good
a,
one.
that's a ridiculous
That's
name.
definitely a
It
good
deserves
one.
like 2 shout outs.
Man. Oh, you know those dogs? I saw them.
Oh no, another dog story.
Wait,
Yeah,
the dogs that
yeah.
almost killed you last week
Hey,
are back?
yeah,
This,
yeah,
this
they
is
came
AJ
back.
and the Dogs, a
And-
sequel?
And I was on my front porch, and they just started running by, and then they came right up to me, and I was like, you know what? And then I pulled out my Swiss Army knife, and then they went away.
What?
That was a bullshit story. He made that up.
Wait, what
Because
do you-
it's a callback. It's a
100%
callback.
true.
It's
Because
still-
one of his
100%
earlier stories
true.
was about the Swiss
Dave is,
Army knife.
dude, Dave retains
I
information
know
like a
yeah.
freaking encyclopedia. You
It's
are
weird.
not
Half the
human.
time I don't. If I've seen a movie anytime in the past 15 years, I can't tell you what happened in it. I can just tell you if I liked it or not. I can remember when you tell a story that involves a Swiss Army knife and that it's a callback to, whatever.
Good night, everybody.